All right, we are good, except for the fact that I forgot to change the names of the teams. But welcome for the final day of Road to Koa, kind of going through every team, seeing where we've left off before the tournament starts tonight. So that's gonna start at, I think it's at 11 server time. I'm pretty sure that's when matches start, but yeah, we'll circle back around to that at the end of the stream. I'm gonna go over kind of what we can expect from the brackets, what my predictions are, what I don't know if you can still put predictions in. I think those might already be locked, but either way, yeah, but yeah, two rounds to or two rounds, two matches to get through today. The final two of the qualifiers. We're gonna see GR versus HHDG and the I guess long awaited, anticipated GR versus ZS.Lin. So yeah, very exciting stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit play on the video and get right into it. But yeah, COAVII does start tonight, so very exciting. I will be watching live. I did say this on Twitter, and I'll say this again later on, but I'm probably not going to be streaming too much of globals. I will be doing, I might pick and choose, but I will be mostly watching it on my own, keeping up live. So I will be kind of live commenting on it on Twitter. But other than that, I would say more gameplay streams for the foreseeable future, at least for the time being. Because Koa will be happening live. Yeah, so that's kind of housekeeping, I suppose. But yeah, I will be getting back to more gameplay streams. And that's enough of that. Getting into the players for today, we're going to have Zuzushi from HHDG as our first survivor here. We're seeing a 25% escape rate with a 64-second average containment time. So we're looking, a little bit of first chasing here, especially with that coordinator and that acrobat. I would definitely expect for that to be kind of who HHDG sort of has take their first chase there. But yeah, one thing with HHDG during these qualifiers, not all of their members were able to make it. I think they're basically a pro team, but like they're not a pro team. But they have a lot of like very strong players. D King for our second survivor is going to be with Cheerleader. Yeah, they were one of the non-professional teams that got into qualifiers like from in-game qualification. So they've actually been able to make it really far. Kind of past past a lot of the other teams that got in that way. Xinghe for our third survivor, here with the forward, we're going to see as well a 33% escape rate, and one average rescue, so not bad here. Over 100% decoding is always a good thing. And 0% win rate does not mean necessarily that these survivors are losing. It does mean that they are getting draws, and being pretty much, carried along by their hunter. We're going to see Egg here to round out the lineup with the Aeroplanet. So yeah, it looks like HHDG only has one survivor in person, which is always just a little bit sad to see. But it does happen, and I would say that they're going to have yeah, I think they are going to have all of their members. As far as I know at this time, the only teams that are missing members for global stage are RC, and I think FT is also missing a player because there were some visa issues. But I'm very curious as to what happened with City, because I'm pretty sure that he was in China and then the visa issues happened. So I don't know what's happening there. But of course, Nia here as GR's sole hunter, and has been doing very well. Of course, we have kind of been seeing him get unlucky repeatedly, but that will be coming to an end sooner than later. It is a little bit unfortunate though that GR's Super Rich is still at the top there, even though he retired. So I kind of wish that they had updated some of these graphics, but yeah. City was in China when RC first arrived, and also was able to do like the promotional photo shoots for the team captains, but they said that there was visa issues going on with that. So yeah, I really don't know what happened, but hopefully that gets fixed as soon as possible. I don't think RC plays until at least tomorrow, but they definitely don't play right away. Yeah. So hopefully that gets sorted out. It does always suck when teams have to play remotely, but it is what it is. And I'm glad that they're allowing players to play remotely, because I know that there's been issues in the past with COA, where teams have been missing a player due to visa issues or sickness or whatever. They weren't able to make it to the main stage, and couldn't play. So that's happened before. I think there was a big uproar over that with, I think it was a Korea team last year, but I'm not remembering specifically. But yeah, they've worked on that, apparently, which is a good thing, because it means that teams are still able to play, even if they can't make it to the actual venue. But yeah, we do see that happening here with HHDG, likely because the rest of the team had kind of obligations. But yeah, getting into band picks here. Oh, we're going to get map band picks first. That's going to be Ever Sleeping Town, chosen by HHDG. GR is going to ban Arms Factory. So really, going into this first round on a pretty even map, a very good map for Opera Singer still, but a very good map for multiple other hunters. If HHDG Hunter next, I would say Nia is probably going to go with the Opera Singer here. But yeah, HHDG locking in the first officer right away. That's kind of an interesting choice. It means that first officer is going to be banned every round after this. First two survivors are always banned after the first round. So we will not be seeing first officer again. First officer is arguably the best rescuer in the meta right now. So that is a very bold choice here from HHDG to just get kind of it's insurance against Opera Singer. First officer is the best rescuer against Opera Singer, but is also just a very, very solid rescuer in general. The thing with picking first officer first here, it's not a bad choice, because it means that Nia is gonna have Nia did have no option to ban first officer. But it means that any ban that could have gone to first officer later on is gonna go to Mercenary. It's gonna go to Gravekeeper. It's gonna go, God forbid, Wildling. But the other rescuers are now more vulnerable as a result. And yeah, we are going to see that Opera Singer here. So good choice to put in the first officer right away. But I feel like it's interesting, because it's, on one hand, you guarantee the first officer. On the other hand, he's now he is banned. Nia doesn't have to ban him. That's the important part, is that he's banned kind of passively now. But yeah, I guess we'll see if this, because with this strong of a team comp, we have Acrobat, Patient, First Officer, and Cheerleader. All of these are very strong survivors against Opera Singer. So if HHDG can just go ahead and get, as many points as possible on the board, why is Bite Them something that I have to allow? Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Censorship knows no bounds. But yeah, with this lineup, I mean, it's a very optimistic lineup to go into against an Opera Singer. It does kind of leave them vulnerable having this heavy of a lineup early on, but you get 3-4 man escape in round 1. That puts a significant amount of points on the board, and if they're able to also perform with their hunter, that's just more points in their favor. But getting into things is round 1 with HHDG versus GR, and it looks like Egg might be our first chase here on the Patient. So not a bad first chase. Definitely a lot of ground that Patient can cover. But once those 3 hooks are gone, they're gone. But Nia setting up a good loop here. Nicely done with the teleport back. Unfortunately, missing that hit, but it does look like that actually wasted Egg's hook there. So yeah, we're only going to have 1 hook remaining. Nicely done there from Nia. And heading into this back corner, it's a pretty strong kiting area, but Cyphers are moving slowly, I think, is the main thing here. First hit did go through with under 50% Cypher progress, so not terrible of a start here, especially since Egg has been able to get quite a bit of distance with that final hook coming into play, playing around this palette as well, trying to avoid getting caught kind of in that double back area. But unfortunately, Egg is going to go down here without the use of Blink, so Nia was able to avoid using Blink here. Cyphers are at best 80% here, so we're at about 1 Cypher kite. A little bit more like 1-2 Cypher Kite, but with those other 2 Cyphers kind of coming along a little bit slowly. It's not ideal there. The missing that hook really put a damper on Egg's Kite. It wasn't a bad first chase, especially since, it is a small map. Xinhua can come directly into the area to rescue, which we are going to see. This will be a before half rescue. First officer just wasting time here, trying to get it as close to the line as possible. And yeah, very smooth kind of beginning of this match here for both sides. We're really working on that draw trajectory, which is neither bad nor good here, especially since, you do kind of want to establish a lead here for HHDG. I would say not that Nia is playing passively, but he can kind of afford to play for that draw and drag things out. But yeah, Egg is now approaching second chair here. We've got 3 ciphers remaining with about 2 ciphers remaining at this point. That second cipher is likely going to pop unless it looks like Xinhua is going to be forced off of it with a beautiful pallet stun as well. Very nicely done here from the first officer. And Egg is going to be rescued there from Cheerleader, unfortunately going down right away. DKing not able to get close enough to successfully body block there, so that's a little bit unfortunate for HHDG, but 1 elimination here at 3 ciphers is still drawable. If that's a word. They can still get we're still under draw conditions here. Especially since we are fast approaching 2 ciphers remaining. However, Xinhua once again being forced off that middle cipher. It is, I believe that is the 91% cipher. Nia getting very, very close to that trim there, doubling back to continue to pressure that center cipher and heading onto D-King with Cheerleader. We're going to see that first dash coming through and another pallet stun here. Nicely timed from Cheerleader as well. We're going to see that the pallet stun was right with the slowdown after the dash, but with a blink there that will be our first hit on Cheerleader, and Nia doubling back onto Xinhua once again. We haven't really been breaking the pallets here, and Nia is going to have to break it that time, but that did not hit through the pallet, kind of surprisingly here for Opera Singer's hitbox. But that is going to be first officer down at 2 ciphers, pretty much 1 cipher remaining here. And Nia is really just going to have to be kind of conscious of that final cipher, not the one in the middle. But the one at the edge there that Suzuki has just kind of been decoding alone for this entire match. Left mostly alone there. Until there, it looks like, okay, no, D-King is the one on that cipher, and none of them can rescue here. So this is very good here for Nia, having been able to pressure Suzuki off of that middle cipher. So we're really, I would say at this point, unless if Nia is able to get this down before D-King cipher pops, but Suzuki doing a really good job of just keeping that distance away. If Nia is able to get the down before that cipher pops, or before Cheerleader can make it to the chair. But HHDG just doing such a good job here, staying away from the chair and not getting caught out, because again, Nia is still cautious, knows that there's 2 survivors on the field, needs to be kind of vigilant of this whole area, but hasn't been able to get close enough to Acrobat or, now to Cheerleader to really kind of make a difference. Suzuki heading towards that cipher is going to pop it, and Nia not quite able to defend the chair, but is going to get that down. All survivors are in the area, but we really are playing very defensively here from Nia, just trying to secure the draw as best he can. And not really playing for a win here, I think, is the key. But heading for the gate. Acrobat is on the gate, so yeah, that's not nearly going to be open. And a very smooth down here. Nia going to double back and head for the chair, which Xinhua was coming back for. So yeah, we're going to catch first officer right out in the open there. This could be a 4-man elimination, playing kind of casually, but with all of the survivors forced into that middle area, none of them could escape after the cipher pop. Ever Sleeping really is a map where you need to be careful of where you are, because as soon as all the survivors are in that middle area, they're all very, very close to the hunter. With a hunter like Opera Singer, you can just catch up right away, and that's exactly what Nia is doing. But being pressured here, Suzuki heading towards the corner house. Nia is just going to go ahead and double back, get Xinhua in a chair that is going to be another elimination. if Suzushi could make a break for dungeon, but without any bombs remaining, that's gonna be very risky. But yeah, playing around this pallet, kind of sitting inside it, not going to get hit there, but nicely done with the drop there from Suzushi. Second pallet to work around here, unfortunately, is Nia is going to win that war, and that is going to be a 4-man elimination for GR here in the first round, that's not something we've seen in quite some time, especially from Nie. So yeah, very impressively done there. Really, just it all came down to that end game. Because of the slow cipher progress, I mean, they had a good thing going with that prime cipher in the center, but the problem with priming a cipher in the center of the map is that as soon as things start to snowball, and that's exactly what happened, you know, there's nothing you can do. Everybody's in the middle, everybody's already injured. The best you can hope for is for somebody to get to the cipher at the same time as the other one goes to rescue, but they just weren't able to really, you know, kind of catch Nie off guard. Playing defensively really worked out there, and you know, it is kind of it's a risk. It's a risk to play defensively, and we've seen that kind of backfire for Nie a lot. Playing defensively, you know, playing for the draw, but it worked here because HHDG just didn't have the Cypher Rush to back it up. Because that's really the key of things is, do you have the Cypher Rush? Do you have, the, you know, teamwork and gumption to really, I don't know why I said gumption, but like, you know, the dedication to kind of keeping the hunter occupied didn't happen as much here as it could have. Skipping over GR survivors because we'll go through them again, you know, again and again and again. But HHDG Zim, but yeah, Opera Singer 34% for elimination rate, 36% for elimination rate. I completely skipped a number there, but hey, if we're working with 54% win rate, honestly, not bad, especially if we're considering that, you know, most of those are probably draws. So yeah, two very strong opera singers here. However, GR has a pretty big advantage going into this with their survivor side after a 4-man elimination. Yeah, just statistically speaking, the most common outcome here is a draw. So if GR survivors, you know, the pressure is off of them. Worst case scenario, they play, they get 4-man eliminated and it's a draw in round 1. But that, you know, that's worst case scenario. Obviously, that could very much happen. But it takes some of the pressure off of their shoulders. Meanwhile, HHDG, huge amount of pressure because now Zim has to 4-man eliminate. You know, there's no other option. But yeah, heading into the second half here, I would say for bans, I feel like, yeah, we're going to see Coordinator Gardner, you know, just going very, very classic, very traditional. Just trying to knock out the opera singer counters because everybody on this field right now knows that we're about to see an opera singer. So getting in here, we're going to get a perfumer as well as a cheerleader. So taking notes a little bit from MRC's strategy. And I am going to let my cat out of my room before she kills me. So I will be for like 5 seconds. She was so good the other day. She sat, you know, she slept the whole time I was streaming. But this time, you know, she settled right in. Then I start and she's like, I want out. So yeah. Anyway, in the time that I was gone, we have banned the aeroplanist as well as the first officer. GR would likely close this off with a mercenary, but taking a little bit of time. We also have a magician going, so this is actually very interesting. They're going with a bit of an I wouldn't say unconventional, but this is a very early opera singer meta. This is the kind of comp, bar cheerleader. This is the kind of comp that we were seeing early in IVL. a lot more magician, a lot more perfumer. Yeah, it's a very IVL comp. So I'm a little worried. But I feel like because it's such a specific comp here, I feel like yeah, it's very it's interesting. It's interesting because at this point, you don't see this comp nearly as much. You see a lot more mercenary. Even if mercenary is not as good against opera singer, you do see more mercenary than wildling. Um, yeah, this team is just very hard to chase. I would say Zim's best bet here is going to be perfumer, but Perfumer still wastes time unless you can really catch Perfumer off guard. She's a great time waster. Magician is the best time waster out of this whole team. Cheerleader as well, Wildling, but you want Wildling to be decoding, so Zim's not going to want to chase the Wildling. Yeah, it does depend on spawn selection as well here, but I would say best case scenario first chase is going to be Perfumer. Maybe Magician or Cheerleader, but I would say Perfumer is definitely going to be the best option here coming into the second half of round 1. But yeah, with an opera singer, the main thing that Zim is really going to have to look out for here is kind of getting stuck on that first chase, getting stuck tunneling one survivor. That's definitely what GR is looking for here. Tunnel one survivor as long as possible. We are going to see everybody in this team does have borrowed time, so not so much on the IVL comp in that sense. We're seeing, a little bit more, a little bit safer, not so much just going for kind of all in on that one-man escape that we were seeing kind of more often in IVL against full-strength opera singer pre-nerfs. But yeah, we're going to have broken windows on 3 out of 4 members of this team. Wildling, obviously, with Tide Turner. Wildling always worries me a little bit, just because he is such a liability. It really comes down to if GR is going to be able to coordinate around this Wildling. Because Cypher Rush was what killed HHDG in the previous match. So that the specter of bad Cypher Rush is kind of hanging over this game right now. So if GR is able, you can work around a Wildling. You can always work around a Wildling, but it requires you to work around a Wildling. Instead of just, decoding. But heading into things here, GR needs one escape to win this round. So stakes are not very low for them, but definitely low. But yeah, heading into here, a lot of pallets have been dropped right away. Now, this is both a good and a bad thing. The good thing about dropping all these pallets is that, obviously, it is slowing Zim down quite a bit. However, those pallets have already been dropped and used, so they're not going to be able to be used later in the match. But it looks like we're actually going to change targets off of Wildling onto Magician. So better than chasing a Wildling, because it means that, there's less survivors on the field that can decode at a normal pace. Wildling does have that 30% decoding debuff. But Magician here, we're already seeing AC doing a great job with these decoys just to confuse Zim, staying out of the way as much as possible. Playing around the tram here as well. And AC is just going to go ahead and get right on that. And Zim changing targets completely here, or at the very least going ahead to cut off AC at the tram. Yeah, that looks like that's going to be what Zim does. But again, we're still wasting time here. Cypher has popped, and we've just gotten our first hit. So we're a minute 30 into the match. We're coming up on our second Cypher. Cyphers, again, are a little bit slow here. But yeah, we're going to see a blink down there. So not bad. One Cypher kite here once again. So we're still, kind of hanging steady on that draw trajectory, unless, the thing here is that GR has quite a bit of time to kind of make up that Cypher progress, especially since, Wildling can come in for the rescue here. And it looks like he is just going to kind of sit and give Tinnitus, but he's not heading in for the rescue just yet. Zim hanging around the area, and yes, it does look like Heart is going to come in for the rescue now. Cypher's looking better than they were before here, so we are taking our sweet time on this rescue just because GR wants to have the maximum amount of time to recover the ciphers that they were missing. So we're going to see that 70% cipher is now reaching 90%. Chair is coming very close to taking off, though. So Heart does need to come in for this sooner than later, is going to dismount the boar here to get that hit in, and that will be our rescue with Tide. Now Zim is going to go for the double down on this, heading for Wildling first, but still has eyes on Magician. So this actually works for Zim in two ways, because first of all, still having eyes on Magician is good, but Magician leaves a decoy at the chair. So waiting a second, trying to see where Magician's actual trail is, worked out very well here for Zim. Now, it is going to take a second to catch up, but ciphers are at 50% and 13%. And wow, that hit? Where did that even hit? What? Hold, what? That had to have been, like, barely through the window. Cause wow, yeah, that was kind of a ridiculous down, but nicely done there from Zim. Yeah, AC returning to the manor there, where yeah, no, that was like crazy, like lucky on the hitbox placement. But yeah. Two ciphers remaining here. We're very much looking like a draw. This is very much looking like a draw, unless GR fumbles. Because GR could definitely fumble it here, but with the cipher rush being what it is, we're at 90% here, 55% on the final cipher. It is stalling for a moment, but yeah, 55% on that final cipher here, 13% on the cipher that they are returning to. So really not looking too bad, especially with Cheerleader taking this chase into the graveyard. And this is exactly what I was talking about with using all of those ciphers at the beginning of the game. GR did take a risk with that. However, this final chase here is heading into an area that hasn't been used at all by Wildling. But Zim with the teleport here heading onto Heart, and that is going to be a very fast down. Ciphers, unfortunately, not quite where they need to be at this point in the game. They've been very cautious with these final two ciphers because they're trying not to get teleported on, but that's exactly what's going to happen still. But it looks like Zim's actually noticed that cipher is shaking, so Xmail5 is going to take the kite here. Cheerleader once again, but we almost have a dash here, just barely coming back in time, it looks like, for that dash. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate that Cheerleader wasn't able to make it to the pallet in time, but heading back towards the center here, we are gonna see kind of this dance between the ciphers going on. Because that's really Zim's only choice here to try and make this anything more than draw. We're still looking like a draw, but if we're able to inch your AK as well as keep these ciphers from being decoded, I think that Zim could maybe push this into a 3-man elimination, possibly, but it's a little bit tricky here in this situation, just because those ciphers are still they're slowly moving along, but they're still very much moving along. But AK at full health here coming in. We've got 13 seconds on that teleport, and Zim does know exactly where that cipher is. We're going to be coming directly towards Heart, but the rescue is going to go off. Heart, unfortunately, just running away from the cipher. Wildling decoding is not fast enough, even with accelerated decoding here. Not fast enough to really get that primed in time. That 95%, Zim changing back to the other cipher, knows that the survivors are still here as well. And XMeow5 taking the kite here. We do have another dash to use, but just going to double back. That cipher is primed, and AK is now the one at the cipher, so much safer here to have the full health perfumer in play. This is not going to be easy here for Zim to really come back from, but looks like we're just going to continue to play around these ciphers, not going for the pop just yet. Nope, they are going to go for the pop here with Zim sufficiently distracted. Yeah, very nicely timed on that. You know, they took just long enough to kind of play that mind game, like, when are you guys gonna pop it? When are you gonna pop it? But Heart on the gate. Boar is going to be activated as Zim approaches, but it's got a pretty reduced time. You know, you can see in the corner there the timing on that boar. The amount of time you can spend on the boar increases with every time you use the boar, and that's very much apparent here. Heart still on the boar, though, is going to get knocked off of it by Opera Singer, and just playing a little bit too close for that pallet stun. And Heart just getting caught on the edge of that hitbox. AK heading towards the open gate. I would say, yeah, Zim is not going to be able to catch up for that. That is going to be a draw here for GR. So they will be taking round 1. Yeah, but just so nicely played with that. It really does take dedication for that team comp to be very effective. So, and that's exactly what they did. You know, they picked that comp specifically for Opera Singer, but it was the communication there. It was very much just the communication, the lack of pressure as well. But their final 2 ciphers were not in the center of the map, and that was key. That was key because forcing Zim to come all the way out towards the fake gate for that final cipher. Meanwhile, Cheerleader is chaired in Graveyard. You know, all of that action's happening in Graveyard. So they can just go to Graveyard Gate. Meanwhile, Zim is all the way across the map at, you know, Corner House, that side of the map. So that's the key here, and that's what good survivors can really do, is control where the hunter is. You know, you don't want to be in the center of the map right next to the gate when you're about to open the gate, because that means if you're in the center of the map, that means the hunter is also in the center of the map. And it can get just kind of ugly there. The closer you come. But yeah, just so well played there from GR, just really making a statement here in round 1. Heading into round 2, though, with it's a pretty substantial lead here, especially with a 4-man elimination. To bring it back for HHDG, they're basically, yeah, 2-7 here. The 5 points in between is strong. Like, that's very strong. But if I can find my timestamp, that'll make things a lot easier. But it's all right. I think we're just going to go ahead and skip the map ban pick. But map ban at this point doesn't matter as much. It really does come down to, you know, what map is picked, what map are we going to be played on. Especially because map bans aren't permanent at all. So yeah, and then coming into round 3, there aren't going to be any map bans, so it matters even less at that point. But yeah, at this point, HHDG needs a 4-man elimination or a 4-man escape to really work on kind of bring it back. Are those like double-sided glasses? I've never seen that before. But yeah, sorry, I'm taking a drink, but having this kind of a deficit in round 1, it's not impossible to come back from. It's definitely not impossible. Is it difficult to come back from? Yes. Is it very difficult to come back from if you aren't able to 4-man escape or 4-man elimination? Yes, and that's the big thing here. HHDG needs to aim for just crazy moves if they want to kind of stay afloat here. But hello, Jupy. That is very all right that you are late. We have just finished round 1. GR is in the lead here by 5 points. So yeah, a pretty strong lead here for GR. But once again, you know, round 2, possibly round 3, HHDG has plenty of time to make it back in kind of both in the points and in the rounds. So yeah, God, it really is, you know, just depressing a little bit to see when they only have one survivor present, especially since the hunter isn't there either. Like, I think that this is the only representation for HHDG possibly at all, which is, I mean, At the very least, they are still able to be there. But I do think that all of them are going to be present during global stage. So yeah, we will be seeing HHDG. I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're playing tomorrow. But yeah. Yeah, for group stage, the teams that are missing people are RC and I think FT is the other team. It's either FT or GH, but I'm 99% sure it was a Southeast Asia team. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping that things get fixed with that because I don't know what's happening with. I'm pretty sure it's FT, um, or it might be GH. Now I'm doubting myself. The other team that's missing a player for global stage. Oh, okay, so that would be GH for Shao Kahn. Yeah, that just sucks. I don't know what's going on with that, but I really don't know what's going on. I was talking about this earlier, so if you're watching this on YouTube, sorry for blatantly repeating myself, but for for RC, City was in China. So I don't know what's happening with that, but I'm hoping that they're able to get it. That they're able. Yeah, I'm glad that they're not disqualifying teams anymore for it, but it is. I hope that they're able to get it resolved because they did say that like NetEase is working with them to try and get it resolved, so that's also good. But yeah, it always sucks. It always sucks when teams can't be fully present, especially when you get up there. COA qualifiers, COA itself. But yeah, heading into round 2 here. Once again, HHDG really needs to shoot for big results here. Because having a 5-point deficit it's you can come back from it, but it's not so easy. But HHGG here locking in Barmaid as well as Antiquarian. Now, Barmaid's a little bit interesting here. I feel Gamekeeper's not bad on Red Church. If we're looking at Nia once again, Gamekeeper's not bad. Dreamwitch, though, is also still on the table. I would think that Nia has a Dreamwitch, but I am honestly not sure because we've only really seen Nia play in round 1. Super Rich was kind of GR's primary hunter before, and we haven't seen GR play on Red Church, I don't think, like at all. So yeah, I'm very curious as to what Nia's hunter pick is going to be. Could definitely be Gamekeeper. I would say this is not a bad team comp to go against Gamekeeper with, but it's also not a great team comp to go against Gamekeeper or to play Gamekeeper against because you do have Barmaid's capability. He'll chip damage. Obviously, you can also catch Barmaid in the chip damage, and I feel like if Nia does go with Gamekeeper, which we will be finding out very, very shortly, that will be part of a strategy. Okay, yeah, we are gonna play it safe, go with the Gamekeeper. Yeah, Gamekeeper really not bad on Church, especially inside the Church itself. Gamekeeper can be very strong because he can hook over all of the pews. He can also do some pretty crazy hooks through windows on Red Church. The problem with Red Church, though, is pallet spamming. Is just the tightness of the map makes it very easy for survivors to find walls to duck behind and dodge the hook. But, you know, on the flip side of that, it's also very easy to hide traps for Gamekeeper. So hopefully there's a lot of that going on. I feel like with a map like Red Church especially, you really need to be playing Gamekeeper as Gamekeeper. You can't really kind of skate by with using the Opera Singer dash and none of the rest of the Gamekeeper's kit. So yeah, definitely it's a little bit scary, but again, you know, Red Church is just kind of that map. And especially if you don't have, I would say, you know, Disciple, Hermit, Dreamwitch, Red Church personally for me just isn't a map that I enjoy hunting on because of all of the walls. Like I can't see. Despite it, you know, it's a small map, but I can't see. Which makes it very difficult to kind of chase anything. Which part of that not seeing is also that I play Hermit and Lizard and you can't see anything through them, but you know. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. I need to start playing a short hunter at some point. But yeah. Definitely, I would say not going to be easy for HHDG to get a 4-man escape out of this, but we will see. It's going to be the first half of round 2 here with GR hunting, HHDG surviving. Once again, GR has the lead. And we're going to be taking Egg as our first chase here on the Aeroplanist. Now, Egg is on main. I actually did play Axeboy once, a very long time ago. I am not good at Axeboy anymore, and I found this out because I got matched with, like, pros the last time I tried. Wasn't very fun, but yep, we are going to see Nia placing the trap here. Hook is in cooldown for another couple of seconds, but playing around this pallet, Egg is going to get that pallet drop down, but it really is just going to be if Nia can land this first hook, which is not going to be the case. Egg is going to do a beautiful hover there just to get into the reception area. Now, reception is also a dangerous area against Gamekeeper, so Egg is going to have to transition out of this pretty quickly. We've got 2 seconds left on that jetpack. Jetpack is back up. Nicely done with the blink there from Nia, though. Very, very smooth with it. The thing here is that Egg has managed to transition all the way into the graveyard, so we are in a very strong kiting area. We still have 2 jetpacks remaining, so Egg does have quite a bit of kind of leeway here to continue this chase. But Nia is drawing closer. We are going to see the jetpack come through, but unfortunately without that hover, it's much less safe, and Egg is just going to go ahead and get hooked there. But a 3 cipher kite, pretty much. We're seeing a 2 cipher kite here with about, 90% on that second cipher. So we will be seeing 2 ciphers remaining shortly. And definitely by the time that Egg is rescued. D-King coming in from the back here, as well as, or it looks like just giving Tinnitus. We're going to see Mercenary approaching from the outside, but with Antiquarian still in the area, 2 ciphers remaining here. They haven't started their final cipher. Both of them playing around the chair. We're going to have Nia coming in with not quite able to get that rescue before half. I think it may have been exactly at 49%. But we will see once Egg returns to the chair. And this is exactly what I was saying about the Gamekeeper potential. But Egg with a beautiful jetpack just to get out of the way there. Very nicely done. And the teamwork here as well with D-King coming in. Looks like Mercenary has been able to hop on a cipher there. So still keeping up that cipher rush. We haven't quite gotten accelerated decoding in, but Nia a little bit risky here with that pickup and not quite able to drop. Oh no, actually did place the trap, but unfortunately, I think Antiquarian broke it. Little underappreciated fact of Antiquarian's kit is that she can break traps. She can break bombs. She can break pretty much anything, I think, that hunters place. I think she can do it with tentacles. Not sure if she could do it with statues, but she probably can. Any kind of secondary item that the hunter can place on the map, she can destroy. So yeah, very nicely done there from D-King. HHDG just kind of scraping along here. With that chair, though, I think unless Egg gets caught out here before that Cypher's Prime, which honestly will probably happen, Cypher's stalling at 41%. And Egg no longer has any items, so we are kiting raw here. Kiting especially raw, considering that Aeroplanist does have Tide Turner. And yeah, just getting caught with the hook there. And that is going to be second chair, though. I'm pretty sure this is second chair. D-King coming in, but not quite close enough to get that rescue off, unfortunately. That's also going to be the end of the flute. And yes, that rescue was just before half, so very nicely done there from HHDG. Antiquarian support really coming in handy there, disarming Nia just enough for Mercenary to get the rescue. Yeah, that was very well done here. But we're going to have both of them coming in just to play around this chair, really waiting until the last second here. You know, right now, they're playing for this 4-man escape. They're really playing for this 4-man escape. I would say as it stands, they're going to manage a 3-man, just because it's likely that Aeroplanist is going to get eliminated after the Cypher pop. But yeah, they're really doing a good job here. Cypher is primed. We're going to have Antiquarian on the gate, though, not quite getting caught in a trap. And D-King is going to go down here. It's a little bit dangerous here for HHDG. Once again, we are seeing kind of having all of those survivors in the same area. Not quite paying off, but yeah, with D-King on second chair here, Nie in a little bit of a sticky situation. It when you have that big of a lead in the first round, you can kind of play a little bit relaxed, but with how hard HHDG is really pushing this, it's not gonna be easy. Now, they are going to go ahead and sell, but with Mercenary and Basement here, it's a little bit risky. Now, we are going to have the teleport come through, but Nie is still over dungeon here. Xinghua coming for it. Is he going to be able to make it in time? Yes, with that elbow pad, it does actually look like he's not going to get caught with that hook. That is going to be a 3-man escape here for HHDG. Now, not a 4-man, but definitely still more than enough to put a decent amount of points on the board. That does, it covers 2 out of the, whoops, that's 23. It covers, oh no, that's 3, it's going to be, okay, 1 point to GR and 3 points to HHDG. We've got that in order now, that's all set. But yeah, it's going to give us 2 points, towards kind of that 5-point deficit. So working to bring that back. Now, if HHDG is able to win the second half of this round, that's going to put them even, on even stats with GR, and that could be huge for them. And, as I was saying, as many points as you can get on the board in round 1, that doesn't mean anything if the other team is able to win the other 2 halves, or the other two rounds. It's best of 3. You win the first round, you lose the second 2, that's still gonna be, best of 3 in the other direction. So HHDG coming into the second half of this round with a pretty substantial morale boost there, I would say. Getting 4-man eliminated first round 1, not great, but going up against the same hunter and 3-man escaping, almost 4-man escaping there, just absolutely, a huge boost here for HHDG. Heading into the second half of the round here, we're going to have Zim coming out as our hunter once again. Yeah, I don't think HHGG has a secondary hunter, but with our first 2 bans, we're going to see here. My computer's not plugged in. Hello? What do you mean my computer's not plugged in? I'm gonna troubleshoot this real quick. My computer is very much plugged in right now. Oh, I fixed the problem. There we go. I think I had, I had pulled, like, how computer charging bricks have, like, the second cord that plugs into the wall? Or, like, into the outlet? I had unplugged, like, that cord from the brick, so it wasn't charging even though everything was plugged in as it was supposed to be. That was scary. I'm just glad that my computer didn't die midstream, because that would be very humiliating. But yeah, it is plugged in charging now, so we have circumvented that problem. Very sorry about that. To pick up where we left off here, we're going to have GR with this is what I'm saying about kind of the state of ban picks. You have 6 survivors banned here, and we still have a hard meta team comp. And all of these bans are also meta. So the fact that, you can take 6 survivors off the table, you can take 8 survivors off the table, you can take 10 survivors off the table, and still have, fully meta team comps. It's just, I enjoy the new ban pick system because it's been very beneficial. You think about it, imagine if we only had 4 bans every round in this state. You know, the fact that things are still bad with 10 bans total in round 3 and going forward, we need more meta hunters. More meta hunters, I think, is the biggest priority. Because right now, every hunter is barely a tie hunter. If you can't guarantee a tie, you know, just by virtue of playing the character, if you play a character well, you should be able to get a tie. Plain and simple. The problem is that pretty much every hunter right now is a tie guarantee at best. And yep, that's why Nightwatch fell off. That's why we haven't been seeing as much, like, we've been seeing more Bloody Queen, we've been seeing a little bit more Geisha, but we've been seeing, you know, hunters that can get a fast elimination. Basically, if you can get an elimination, if you can't get an elimination before 1 cipher remaining, then there's nothing you can do. It's going to be a draw at absolute best, unless you just bust your ass and the survivors make every mistake in the book. But I also miss my Snowball Hunters. The thing is that, like, fundamentally, Cypher Rush is at a state, because what it used to be, and I'm gonna just pause this for a second because I'm gonna, you know, talk for a second about this. But what it used to be is that Cypher Rush would be very, very slow until accelerated decoding, and by the time you hit accelerated decoding, that would be when the hunter is also full presence. So it kind of keeps, you know, both factions even, where hunter's at full presence, hunter is much more powerful, but the survivors also can just Cypher Rush to hell after, you know, 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the match. This changes, though, once you have all of these meta survivors. The reason why that worked for a while, obviously the game was more hunter-sided, but what changed is that the survivors that we play now, most of them don't have decoding debuffs, or if anything, they have decoding buffs. Like, just looking at this team comp, you have Dancer, who technically doesn't have a natural decoding debuff, or she doesn't have a natural decoding increase, but she has boxes, so she can just drop, you know, 1, 2, 3 boxes that gives her, you know, I think it's either 5 or 10% movement or like interaction boost for the boxes. So either way, you know, you're boosting your decoding by about an extra 10%. Aeroplanist has a 2% speed increase, but no debuff. Antiquarian doesn't have a decoding debuff, and she should, but she doesn't have a decoding debuff. And Mercenary has a 25% decoding debuff, but that's the only member of the team that has a decoding debuff. You look back at, like, COA 4, you're working with Mercenary and Forward and Wildling and Mechanic, and the Mechanic gets chased. You have 3 other survivors who can't decode for shit. So that's what happened, is those survivors aren't really meta anymore, or if they are meta, the majority of the rest of the team doesn't have a decoding debuff. So I was actually talking about this yesterday with a couple people talking about Puppeteer, and it's like, well, Puppeteer, my strategy for Puppeteer is just not chase him. And my friends are like, well, I mean, if you don't chase him, he's just going to Cypher Rush you. But, you know, you think about the average team comp nowadays, you've got maybe 1 person, if any, survivors that have a decoding debuff. None of them have decoding debuffs anymore. So in my mind, it doesn't really matter if you don't chase Puppeteer first, because inevitably you're going to run into somebody else who also doesn't have a decoding debuff. You're not really losing any Cypher Rush. Mech fell off because Mech is still a great decoder, because she has the extra body on the field. But the extra body on the field, you don't really, you know, it doesn't give her any bonus at this point, because you know, her drawbacks are so far that it doesn't matter if she can decode slightly faster or slightly more when you have 3 to 4 other survivors on the team that can decode just as fast without being terrible at kiting and without, you know, having their decoding significantly hampered as soon as somebody else gets injured. Because that's a huge thing with Mechanic, is that as soon as there's damage on the board, you know, you're screwed. And that was something that was kind of, it was high risk, high reward in the past. Now it's just risk. And it's kind of the same thing with Wildling. You know, obviously we're still seeing Wildling a little bit just because he has better kiting potential and containment potential. But we've seen his decoding just get completely in the way. So yeah, it's always something to contend with. I did hit play on the video. They're just taking a minute, which is now makes me feel stupid for pausing in the first place. But yeah, that's my little meta spiel. I'm sure that we'll hear it again. But heading in here back to our old friend Molten Hound, and that is going to be the start of the second half of round 2. Zim heading towards, I did not quite catch who the survivor was, but it looks like well, I guess we'll see who we're chasing in a moment here once Zim moves the okay, it's gonna be it's gonna be Aeroplanist taking this first chase, which not great first chase. Well, okay, there's no good first chase here. Aeroplanist is probably your best bet when it comes to a first chase. However, and Meow5 actually not using the jetpack here. That would have been a pretty good spot to use that jetpack. So a little bit unfortunate that didn't come out just yet. But Zim just keeping up very, very close here. Antiquarian coming through with the assist, though. That's only going to last about another second, but it gives Meow5 more than enough time to transition into this area. Box has already been set up. We're going to see a beautiful hover there to counteract that blink. Very nicely done from Meow5. Heading into the graveyard here. Cyphers are looking pretty good. Having wasted that blink, though, is huge, though. It sends it into cooldown for about, over 2 minutes here. And yeah, just very, very well done there with the hover. This is why Aeroplanist is meta. Because he's one of the only survivors that you can kind of dramatically blink predict like that. And for our final jetpack there, just avoiding the hit for a little bit longer. Just so much time wasted here from Meow5, just doing such a good job on this containment. And this is really where Gamekeeper kind of starts to struggle when he can't make a straight line between the hook and the survivor. But about almost 2 minutes into the match, we are going to have our first down. 3 ciphers are about to pop. Just such a great containment there from Meow5. And not an ideal beginning of this game. However, Zim only needs to aim for a draw here. Because HHDG survivors were able to 3-man escape. If HHDG survivors were able to 3-man escape. If GR survivors are able to 3-man escape, then it'll continue as a draw. They'll continue to have the lead going into round 3. Or if they're somehow able to 4-man escape this, then they will win. So there's always that. There's always that little caveat there. But yeah, with this rescue here, we're really working on kind of a draw trajectory. Nicely done with the wall, though, getting that free hit on Antiquarian. Unfortunately, none of those stuns are going to connect either, so a little bit of a miscalculation here from AK. Getting in the way, though. AK not going to go down just yet. Okay, yeah, we are just going to go ahead and take the hit there. Take AK off the field. Kind of, I feel like that may have been a little bit over harassment here. Ciphers are only at around 30%. And Meow5 has another chair to sit on, if I'm not mistaken. So could definitely be in a worse position here. However, we're still really looking at a draw, which is not what GR needs. Looks like Zim is actually going to go ahead and share in basement here. Really, really just trying to secure this elimination before the Cypher pop. Which is exactly what you need to do. If you have more, basically the way to get a draw, the way to set yourself up for success is to just get one elimination before the Cypher pops. And we saw this work out beautifully for Nye, in round 1 with Opera Singer, just aiming, playing it safe, aiming for just the one elimination as soon as possible. And, by biding his time, being patient with it. We're going to have 3 survivors in the basement here. Final Cypher is at 71%. Finally moving up here, but Zim in a little bit of danger if he's not able to get the hit in on Acrobat, but that is exactly what is going to happen. We're going to see the force heal coming through, but Gamekeeper traps, popping excitement as well with the trait switch. I feel like that may have been a little bit overkill. We're going to see that AK actually didn't have any Yeah, AK didn't have any flute remaining, but yeah, that's just a little bit unfortunate here, but I would say we're still gonna get that draw result with Heart taking the kite. Heart's not going to be able to take a detention hit either, and with the hook there, unfortunately not able to elbow pad away in time. That is going to be Mercenary on chair. AC and AK are both at the gate, but yeah, unfortunately, not going to be able to get more than a draw here for GR. Draw is still a very good result, definitely much better than allowing HHDG to get more points than that. But that is going to be the round, a round one, as in WON for HHDG. So starting to kind of make up the deficit from round one. You know, it doesn't matter the points. If HHDG is able to also win round 3, then that is going to be a win for them. But yeah, just great teamwork there. A little bit risky, and I think Zim was definitely able to take advantage of kind of the over harassment there. But yeah, all in all, I mean, a draw. Matches that end in draws are very cut and dry. You know, everybody did everything right. These are very evenly matched teams, which is fun. It's very fun, and I feel like the fun thing about going into COA as well is that you get to see kind of more of these very, very close matches. But the matches tend to be, you know, they're either very, very close or they're an absolute sweep. And I feel like, especially coming up soon, I am going to go through the brackets at the end of the stream, as well as the first. I guess I'll look at, you know, the first few weeks of matches, kind of give an overview of how those might go. But yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take a look. Really good Ada makeup here. Wow. That was crazy. But yeah, heading into the first half of round 3, once again, each team has won a round and lost a round. So pretty much whichever team, I do think that GR still has the point lead here heading into round 3. So if this round is a tie, I think GR is still going to take the win. But heading in for our first round of band picks, we're going to have Priestess and Forward Band from Zim, and Novelist as well as Mercenary locked in from GR. Now, Novelist has really been coming up in the meta as of late. I would definitely expect to see a lot of Novelist this year in COA, which honestly not expected, but it's been a lot of fun. I've been having a surprising amount of fun watching Novelist kind of break into the competitive scene, because he has such a simple kit, but it's been so effective in the right hands. We're going to see Seer locked in as our third pick here, Acrobat as well being banned, and for our final ban, we're going to lock out Psychologist. GR could definitely lock in a Barmaid as kind of a response to that, or possibly a Prospector, or an Antiquarian. Or no, Antiquarian has been banned. But they're actually going to go with Professor here, so it looks like we might be gearing up to counter comp a Dream Witch. We're going to see, I would say this is definitely a Dream Witch counter comp. We don't usually see Professor unless it's going to be a Dream Witch, or unless they're trying to avoid a Dream Witch. Maybe a Geisha as well. Geisha counter comp here. But in terms of who Zim can play, it's not going to be an easy pick. If Zim has a breaking wheel, that would be not too bad here. Novelist would definitely still be an issue. But there's not much that Professor can really do against a breaking wheel, so Professor and Seer, as well as Mercenary, can kind of struggle against a breaking wheel. Novelist would just be... A Wax Artist would be okay, sort of. I think Wax Artist would definitely be really good against... Yeah, Wax Artist I feel like might be the pick here, because... Yeah, there's not as much... Oh, okay, we're gonna go with Night Watch. Yeah, that's a risk. I've been too nice to Night Watch lately. We're getting back into... We're getting back towards, okay, maybe let's not go Night Watch. That's where we're going here, because the thing with Night Watch here, yeah, hello. Welcome to Night Watch on Moonlit against a Seer, Professor, Mercenary, and Novelist. Yeah, I feel like Wax Artist would have been the better pick here. Now, Wax Artist can definitely still get tripped up, especially with the Seer support. Um, but everything that I would say, well, maybe you shouldn't go Wax Artist against this because is also a reason that you probably shouldn't go Night Watch here. But yeah. Professor's gonna be hard, and the main thing about Professor that's gonna be really hard for Nightwatch is not necessarily the scales, but the passive here. Because Professor passively slows down the hit. Nightwatch has a very fast and a very small hitbox. Now this can be very good, this can also be very, very bad. When that hitbox is slowed down, even by just a slight bit, it becomes infinitely harder to hit anything with it. So that's really, and we're gonna see that Xmeow 5 is also taking the Professor here. So yeah, very, very strong kiting in that department. Yeah, it's always interesting to see who on the team takes the Novelist, because we're going to see AK take the Novelist here. AK was just playing Antiquarian. So yeah, kind of the harassers taking the Novelist here with Flywheel as well is always just so funny to me, because like, yeah, I guess like it makes sense. Because Novelist does kind of very similarly have to play very close to the Hunter, very aggressively close to the Hunter. But heading into the match here, we're going to see Zim heading for Moonlit, the 2-story. I don't know why I was trying to say Moonlit River Park as if that's the name of the building. But yeah, heading around 2-story here to chase a Seer. Not the best prospect for a first chase. But I think somebody else was at 4th stop and Zim was like, I don't want to go there. So I would say, yeah, Seer is not the worst first chase, especially if you can catch him before Owl comes back, but Owl is very much back here. We're going to go ahead and just wait this out. AC just kind of hanging out on the roof here is going to go down, and this is going to be presumably our first hit. Yeah, going for the heavy hit here just for a little bit of insurance, trying to bait out the Flywheel if AC were to have it. And going ahead with the Wind here. It's, yeah, heading into God Kite, it's not, oh wait, Zim has teleport. So that does kind of change things. We do have Insolence that should come into play very shortly. Yup, it looks like it has already been activated. So Insolence here is definitely going to help with cutting this chase short, but it's a little bit risky. AC dodging that hit and dodging a second hit again with that pallet drop. So already we're going to see a 2-cipher kite here at least, with the 3rd cipher at 75%. AC unfortunately going to go down here, but yeah, this was basically a 3-cipher containment. If we're going to be technical about it. Well, since the 77% cipher has been abandoned, at least for a brief time, that does kind of change things. It is kind of more of a 2-cipher kite, and share, but that cipher should be popped fairly soon. It did look like someone was rotating. Okay, no, somebody was rotating to start a new cipher. They're going to return back to that cipher later on. So we're basically operating 2 ciphers remaining and change. But Heart coming in for the rescue here. Not much that Zim can really do to ensure that being after half. We're gonna consider going for Mercenary. No, we're gonna have to break too many pallets to go for Mercenary. And heading back towards AC. AC does have an Owl here, and that should come into play very shortly. Beautifully done, right with that heavy hit. It's definitely dangerous to go with a heavy hit against the Seer, because, I mean, obviously Seer is looking out for the basic hit. Nightwatch has a very much telegraphable basic hit, so I guess the heavy hit does make sense, but yeah, that is going to be AC down once again here. Looking at about, those ciphers are very, very healthy. We're going to see 80%, 80%, and about 70%. AK blocking the doorway here, using the Flywheel to just waste even more time, and AC able to struggle free right before the chair. Insane teamwork here from GR. My bad. But yeah, wow, just that is exactly the strength of the Novelist here. Or just, the boldness of AK, to be more accurate. We're going to, that second to last cipher here is going to be at 90%. Final cipher at about 80%. Heart is in the area for the rescue, kind of playing with fire here. AK has gotten up once again here. Is going to use the switch to just get a little bit of distance here. Unfortunately, is going to go down right again. And AK has used self-heal, so he's just going to be sitting here next to the almost prime cipher for quite some time. A little bit dangerous, especially for how close GR is really pushing this. Heart going to take a hit here as well. It's, having Mercenary on this primed cipher, almost able to get it. We're at 94%. And Heart is going to be chaired. Zim can go ahead and just leave AK on the ground here for the time being, but XML5 coming in with scales with Professor here, going to get the hit, and actually between the scales, very tight on the timing there. That, I don't even know how that didn't hit the scale. That should have hit the scale. That was crazy. But just a little bit of a miscalculation there from XML5. We're going to have Heart on chair, AK crawling around on the floor, unable to get up. And AC has started a new cipher, but it's very, very close here. We're going to see Zim kind of acknowledging that, approaching from the outside. XML5 getting caught on the outside of the two-story. And all Zim has to do here is just going for the Terror Shock. We're going to have 3 survivors down. AC is going to be forced to come in, but with the teleport back to the chair, AC trying to hide, but it looks like Zim knows exactly where he is. Just going to go ahead and go right for that pallet. Getting another Terror Shock here. That's going to be all survivors down. This could be a 4-man elimination entirely on GR's bill. This was GR miscalculating completely, just to such detriment. We're going to have AC eliminated here. Heart also about to be sent back to the manor, and XML5 is just going to go down here, not able to get that scale out, and that is a 4-man elimination from Zim against all odds. Just absolutely, you see... Even the crowd is shocked here. A 4-man elimination on GR. Just, AK couldn't self-heal. AK had already used self-heal, and was downed again. He had been down for pretty much the entire, remainder of that. I think that he might have been at, 99% there, but... that was... I think that Zim's persona web may have also had impact on it. I think that Zim's persona, because if you're carrying insolence, I think that the reduced self-heal is also on that branch of the persona web, so you can only heal up to about 60% if that's fully stacked. I could go back and look at Zim's persona, but I'm not gonna go and do that. I might do that later, but so I think it was that AK was just stuck at 60% healing, couldn't get any further than that. It's why he wasn't able to prime. But even so, just losing track of that final cipher. And this is, I love it. I love it when matches have overarching themes that I can take away from them, because, or games have overarching themes that I can take away from them, because almost every match that GR and HHDG have played here has been coming down to whether or not at the final cipher are all 3, maybe are 3 to 4 survivors in the same place right now. Yes, you're going to lose. No, you're going to win. And that's what it's come down to. And now you can scrape a win away when you have a bunch of survivors kind of running around one prime cipher. You can definitely win that way. I've won that way before, just by, running around like headless chickens around the prime cipher and, hoping it works. But there's a very fine line. This is actually something that I've discussed before. I like it when survivor teams just kind of do the unexpected, go absolutely balls to the wall crazy to try and get a 4-man escape. We see that a lot, most notably with AWG strategy at the end of Japan finals. I'm still very, very upset that I didn't upload the VOD from that to YouTube, but at some point I honestly might go back and re-commentate it and upload it as a regular video, because genuinely, if you missed my stream or you haven't watched FL versus AWG, some of the absolute best IDV gameplay that I have ever seen in my life. I'm not exaggerating. I feel like there's gonna be crazier matches this year's COA, but AWG versus FL Japan COA qualifier finals, most insane match that I have ever seen in my life. Like just absolute coming from behind success, just crazy gameplay. But that was where, you know, you can really see the strategy of like survivors just kind of clustering together and hoping that they're behaving erratically enough to throw off the hunter. That's kind of what GR was heading for there, but it just wasn't effective enough, and Zim just didn't get flustered by it. That's the key here. You know, if you're trying to wage psychological warfare on the hunter, you need to make sure that that psychological warfare is actually working, because when it doesn't work, that's exactly what happens. The hunter can just take advantage of it, and you end up with a 4-man elimination, where if GR had been a little bit less bold, they could have 100% even pushed that to a 3-man escape. They had the manpower on their side until the end. I feel like a lot of Zim's ability to keep cool is likely due to the fact that he's not on the premises. I feel like that's a big factor in not losing your mind when the survivors that are like 15 feet away from you are the ones that are beating you up. Or like running around like crazy. Like I feel like that is kind of another level of like staged tournaments, is that you're right there. Like I don't think you can really hear everything that's happening. Like I would say, especially with the headphones being on and everything, like you're very locked in. But just by virtue of being on that stage, like it's a lot of pressure, like stage fright, period, and then everything else on top of it. I love it when they go through their camera roll and show off all the memes. I think that's like it's so wonderful. And I love all the iPads with like Apple Pencils too, because like that would be me. That's me with my Apple Pencil. It's fun. I would love to go to like COA stage at some point. That's like bucket list material for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and mark down HHDG's 4-man elimination there. But that's like bucket list trip, is to go to COA in person. Because I just think it would be such a fun experience. Now, of course, that would just be an insane amount of travel for me, but the dream, it's the dream. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to see HHDG in COA, especially when they can all be on stage together. I feel like it's gonna be helpful for their survivors, I think, because their survivors have been kind of, you know, discombobulated a little bit sometimes. But it works. It kind of worsens the divide between hunters and survivors. Is that Sanrio Emma? Oh my god, that's so cute. But yeah, I love it when new teams make it into tournaments. I also love it because this year I think is the first year, or at least the first year in quite some time, that all of the finals are being held in the same place. The reason why all of the teams are so excited to be meeting like the Chinese players is because last year, and I think the year before as well, I don't know exactly how the scheduling has been, but like last year I know for sure that China finals happened in a different location than, or like the Chinese teams were playing in their own like stadium, I guess, setup. But all of the other global teams were playing in Japan. So none of them actually got to meet the Chinese players or like play on the same stage as the Chinese players last year. But that's what's happening this year. All of the teams are in China, which is why everybody's been so excited and like hyped about meeting the Chinese players, is because I think the last time that everything was together and everybody was in China would have been like COA 2, I think. Maybe COA 3. Yeah, probably COA 3. But yeah, just very far back since everything's been together. But I'm glad that they were able to do it this year, because it's been so fun to see everybody meeting everybody. But heading into the second half of round 3 here, HHDG immediately pulling out the Mercenary and the Seer. We're going to ban. Interesting. That's actually very interesting here. HHDG is going to ban Opera Singer and Dream Witch, not banning Gamekeeper. So I think that I I honestly don't agree with that. I feel like on a map like Moonlit, Gamekeeper's good on Moonlit. Gamekeeper's really good on Moonlit. They only need one escape, but Nia's not a bad Gamekeeper. So that I feel like, you know, you can obviously play for one escape and get one escape. Nia did ban Embalmer right away, so that does kind of put a damper in things. But having the Mercenary, having the Seer, having the Aeroplanist here, and especially with that Entomologist coming out, Aeroplanist here I feel like is going to be kind of the make or break, especially with how well we've seen Aeroplanist perform kind of up to this point. But yeah, just a really strong comp here. But letting Nia play Gamekeeper when he's kind of been practicing Gamekeeper this entire time, I feel like is a little bit cocky and a little bit risky, especially because, like, Dream Witch can be scary on Moonlit, but it's also much easier to, you know, force her to overextend on Moonlit than it is for a Gamekeeper. But yeah, I mean, it'll definitely, if they can get one escape, they can get one escape. And that's all they need here. They only need one escape to bring it, which is just such an oversight for GR, really. Because they just walked into that. And I know I'm like still talking about it and we're past that match, but like they walked into that 4-man elimination. It did not have to be a 4-man elimination. Okay. Going Clown here with an yeah. With the Entomologist on the team? That's incredibly risky. That is beyond risky. And before this match starts, my cat is asking to be let back in after so violently requesting to leave. So, hello. You don't get to come back in if you're gonna just ask to leave again. I should, like, put a picture of my cat on the stream at some point just for people who haven't seen her. But she's very cute, which is why I do all of this. But yes, hello. Yeah, against Seer, against Entomologist, against Mercenary to like there's, oh god. It's not, you know, okay, after this match, when we go on break, before the next matchup, I will download a picture to my computer of Lola and I will put it on the stream. But I'm not gonna do that yet because we're almost done here. Yeah? Yeah? What did I just do? Okay, I just I got so upset at that I lost my timestamp. I got so upset at that Persona web that I just completely clicked off the stream. Okay, give me 1 second to find my timestamp again. What? No detention, insolence only? No detention, insolence only? Okay, that's about close. That's about close enough. But I just what? 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 Insolent. I just what? I think I undershot the timestamp here, I think, but okay, yeah, I did. I completely undershot it. I just don't want to go over it, but like, yeah, okay, here we are. Why? What? What? I'm flabbergasted. I'm beyond words. I'm just no detention against an entomologist. Teleport, I guess. Teleport, I guess. I guess for map control, but like, it's clown. It's clown. You can dash. It's clown. Okay, we're gonna get back into professionalism mode. I It's bold. It's very bold. It's very bold. We're just gonna put it like that. Yeah. In a situation where you need a 4-man well, okay, it maybe Nia can make it work, but I don't think I've even seen him play Clown before. I think I've seen him play Clown maybe once or twice, actually, if I'm thinking about it. But, like, Okay, well, heading into this against all odds round 3 here, we're going to, with the entomologist on the field, with Seer, this is just such a strong comp, not going, and you're just wasting a lot of time here, like, messing with the rocket dash, not quite bringing it out just yet. Heading into Godkite here against Aeroplanist is really very risky, once again. But I feel like, I don't even know, is this like a throw? Because, alright, we're gonna have our first dash coming out here, and trying to bait out, we're gonna dodge the Seer Owl and just head in the opposite direction. Heading towards, but it looks like all the other survivors are on the other side of the map, so this is gonna have to be a very long dash here. We do have, obviously, infinite rocket, so we can just kind of keep going forever, but Nia heading towards the bridge here onto, potentially, Mercenary. Nope, turning around, we're gonna head towards Zuzushi on the Seer. Now, that's actually not too bad of a prospect here, especially since Seer has already kind of used the Owl, but with a beautiful flywheel that is not going to be a pallet stun, thankfully. But Nia can just go ahead and go for this hit. It is going to be our first hit in the match. Now, we already have one Cypher almost pop. We're almost 2 minutes into the match. The pro of this is that we have been able to kind of delay this decoding for quite a bit because Nia has taken the long way around the map. Unfortunately, we've also taken the long way around the map. Seer is not going to continue this chase. We're going to change targets and head towards Aeroplanist, trying to bait out the hover. That hover is going to get baited out here, but Egg is still going to be able to use it. Missing the slide, though, it looks like, we're at least just going down it a little bit prematurely. And Aeroplanist is going to take a hit. Now, with that insolence, we are going to see that Nia is almost at full presence, should be at full presence by the time, or with the next hit that we got on Aeroplanist, but 3 Cyphers are remaining here. They are coming along a little bit slowly, but we do have 3 survivors still on the map. Teleport, I would say, is going to be our endgame, but the main thing here is that, we don't have Blink. This chase can last for quite some time. Egg still has a jetpack, but that's not going to be able to be used here, and Egg is going to go down. Now, we still have 3 Cyphers remaining. All Cyphers are at about a little under halfway through, but just look at that Persona Web. Looks like we've got points in we've got points in Berserker. We've got a few other points there that I wasn't quite able to see. But with the teleport here, we're gonna go right back on Seer. Now, this could potentially work out. Switching targets very quickly. We're going to waste that Tide Turner, and get a very fast down on Seer. We're working a little bit slowly for 4-man elimination trajectory. But, I mean, the last match definitely wasn't 4-man elimination trajectory until the very end. So, anything can happen here. Now, the main thing that HHDG is doing really well that GR didn't do in the previous match is distributing those ciphers. We're seeing that those final 2 ciphers are on clear opposite sides of the map, which means that if Nia wants to pressure either of them, he's gonna have to go and pressure either of them, and the rescuing right now is happening in the middle of the map. Now, Zuzushi going down once again, not able to get that flywheel out in time. Now, we're also saying that Zuzushi was not carrying borrowed time, so that, was actually the only survivor not carrying borrowed time. So, a little bit unfortunate that we weren't able to really go crazy with that, build, but actually no, we're gonna go ahead and drop Suzushi, heading towards the mercenary, gonna try and get that extra hit in, but I feel like that's a little bit risky here to change targets like that. It does give us the double down, but Suzushi may well just struggle free here, especially without a chair directly in the way. I do think that Nia had stacks in Giant Claw. Okay, yeah, we're still able to get that chair. It's a little bit bold though. Just a little bold. But heading towards, it looks like we're heading towards Egg. Egg does have the coaster to work with. So yeah, trying to bait it out. But that Cypher is going to be primed by the end of this. And we're going to see Mercenary was able to self-heal. Not sharing Mercenary here is a little risky as well. They're just gonna go for that Cypher pop too. And yeah, doesn't have detention. So Egg really has nothing to fear being on this side of the map, at least for the time being. We're going to not see that teleport come into play just yet. Heading towards the middle of the map here, we do have Mercenary. Now, we can down Mercenary here. That's exactly what Nia is going to do. Down Mercenary and then possibly teleport to the gate. Not using the teleport just yet, but the gate is almost open here. And teleporting just a little bit too late. Egg is going to be out the gate here. And with no detention, yeah, just going to be able to hang out outside the gate. Entomologist had more than enough time here to get that gate open as well. Unfortunately, Mercenary can't... no, Mercenary can still self-heal. I think Mercenary actually got up with the Cypher Pop. So Mercenary could self-heal, of course, that is going to be a draw, but either way, that is HHDG's victory here. And yeah, very, very decisively. Yeah, it does kind of suck here, to be the only representative of your team when you've just qualified for KOA, but yeah, wow. I mean, that's just unfortunate. That's just very unfortunate there from GR. But I feel like Nia's strategy there was less to push for the 4-man and more to just say, okay, like we have another chance we can go up against, because this was the final day of qualifiers for a little bit of context. So I don't have to change videos this time to go to the next round, which is nice. But I would say that GR's strategy here was to say, okay, the next matchup today is either Do5 or ZS.Lin. We can take Do5 or ZS.Lin in the last round, but because we got 4-man eliminated, like it's not worth like it wasn't worth Nia's energy to really try and push for that, which is unfortunate, and it's really just up to like down to the fact that the survivors got 4-man eliminated. But yeah, I would say playing it a little bit passive there in terms of overall strategy for it to work out later. But with that, I did cover ZS.Lin versus Do5 the other day, so you can find that on YouTube if you missed it. But I am going to go on break now because we have GR versus ZS.Lin to round out this week or so of restreaming. And after that, I'm going to go over like the brackets for KOA as well as the groups for KOA. That'll be after the next match. But with that, going to take a short break here. Make sure to get some water. Take a bathroom break. It'll only be a couple minutes. And I will see you guys on the other side. Don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. I forgot to fix the score numbers again. So, oh, man, there we go. One day I will remember that this is a thing that I need to do. I'm always like, oh yeah, I've got the timestamp, so I'm free to do whatever I want for the next minute. And I'm like, nope, you forgot to go into studio mode on OBS, which is still something that you haven't quite figured out how it works. But not to worry, I am very technologically literate, and this is all just an elaborate act to make you guys feel bad for me. But there we are. So heading into the second match covering today, and the final match of COA qualifiers, GR versus ZS.Lin. So if you've been keeping up with my streams this week, these are teams that we're very, very familiar with. And yeah, we've seen them kind of time and time again, constantly losing. However, still putting up very, very strong fights. So many of these matches have been lost by just a lucky hitbox, specifically the other days. But yeah, heading into things here, we're going to see ZS.Lin banning Red Church for our first round, and GR picking Chinatown. So an interesting round one pick, but definitely definitely one that is aggressive here from GR. I do like seeing Chinatown a little bit later, just because I don't think it's like the greatest opera singer map in the world. And I like to see it utilized for other hunters, but you know, seeing it in round one, it is a very strong hunter map, but can also be, you know, kind of reworked to use for survivors. But heading into things, we're going to have Gardener and Coordinator as our bans from JXY, and GR is going to lock in Embalmer as well as Perfumer. So really looking to get as many escapes out as possible in this round with that Embalmer pick. And very interesting too, you know, GR is kind of coming in guns blazing this round. You know, picking Chinatown, immediately locking in that Embalmer. Perfumer as well is still a very good first pick. She is kind of dispensable after the first half, because she is strong against Opera Singer. There aren't a lot of other hunters that she's kind of optimal against. But yeah, anyway, Cheerleader is going to be our third pick here with a Priestess ban. And I would say we're going to see... JXY should ban First Officer. Yeah, this is the final match of all of qualifiers. One team here is going to be eliminated entirely and not making it into COA. And we do kind of know who that is because the brackets are out and have been out for like a couple weeks now. But for the sake of the stream, no spoilers. But yeah, we're going to see Mercenary as that final ban. It's always so interesting to me when hunters ban Mercenary instead of First Officer when it's expecting an Opera Singer. But I think JXY has actually not played Opera Singer in round one before. I think, was it JXY who played the Wax Artist the other day? I think it was, like, round one Wax Artist, because I remember the other day being a round one Wax Artist, but I think that was JXY, if I'm not mistaken. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wax Artist again here, though, just because it is Chinatown. Wax Artist is really good on Chinatown. Wax Artist is also really good against First Officer. So if JXY does go Wax Artist here, I would say it might actually be better than Opera Singer, just because Opera Singer does kind of get tripped up with the First Officer, does kind of get tripped up with the rest of this team. Wax Artist, though, doesn't have to worry about Cheerleader, doesn't have to worry about Perfumer as much either. Perfumer is definitely still an issue. The thing with Perfumer, though, is that if you perfume before getting waxed off, you return to having that amount of wax on you, which can pretty much, you know, just waste your perfume because you go back to having 80-90% wax after getting frozen already. But okay, we are going to be going with the Opera Singer, which I feel like, you know, might just be JXY being a little bit more confident with the Opera Singer, wanting to get the Opera Singer out on the field before she's inevitably banned, or at the very least, leave Wax Artist open, leave Disciple open, leave, you know, all of these other hunters, keep them open for later rounds. But I do feel like just because GR is kind of coming into this very aggressively, I feel like it would benefit JXY to also come with that aggression, but it is what it is. Opera Singer's still obviously top of the meta for a reason. But GR really looks like they are gearing up to counter that Opera Singer. Now, obviously, there's only so much you can do to counter an Opera Singer, but there's also only so much an Opera Singer can do against her counters. It really comes down to if JXY is able to kind of tank the teamwork of GR survivors, because, you know, I did kind of just spend, a significant amount of time ragging on GR survivors for allowing that 4-man elimination, but usually they do not do that. So they are generally very well coordinated, as is kind of par the course for these teams at this point. But yeah, they are a very coordinated team, and on Chinatown especially, against a hunter that they've been basically hardcore training against since the start of competitive season. And JXY actually only bringing detention here, not bringing any other trait. So not the worst single trait build. Definitely an interesting one to not have trump card here. I would say we're probably going for some kind of max palette break situation, possibly with points in, I would say, Berserker, maybe Giant Claw, maybe, just kind of spreading out these points around the Persona web instead of going for 2 secondary traits. Now, it can be good. I mean, I have a detention only build that I use pretty often on Lizard that is pretty much up down, except instead of full up, I've got Wanted Order, but it's risky. It's definitely risky to go in with only one Persona trait, because immediately you're kind of handicapping yourself. You're not giving yourself, all of the tools at your disposal. But if JXY is able to kind of take advantage of that Persona, then, it is what it is, and still has detention. So, the insurance of detention is not lost here, which is better than, an insolence only build. But getting into things, ZS.Lin versus GR for the final spot remaining in China's teams. We're going to see Heart kind of dancing around this first chase. JXY not likely to go for the first officer first, but just kind of trying to stay in the area, bait out the pocket watch. Not going to be the case though, and we're going to run right into Cheerleader. Now, we've just seen how strong of a kiter XML5 is on this Cheerleader, so shaping up for really, really good rotation here with GR. As you can see, keeping Embalmer out of the way, forcing JXY to run into the first officer, and then the Cheerleader, not giving JXY any options to, have an easy first chase. All of these first chase options that he's been given, and then beautiful palace on there from XML5. But yeah, just as I was saying, you're not getting any great first chases, because even Perfumer would be a good first chase, just because, you do get to hit a Perfumer a little bit more often. But first hit is going to register here on XML5. We're going to have about 2 ciphers popped here, though, and JXY does not have Blink to really cut this containment short. So, yeah, is going to have to play a little bit of catch-up here. Doesn't have Presence yet either, so we're not going to see the cape come out, and that hitbox, once again, kind of not doing JXY any favors. We are going to be able to catch XML5 at the top of the stairs, but already 2 ciphers have been decoded. Third cipher is at about 50%, which, we do have a first officer. We did have to do a little bit of rotation there in early game, just to choose a target. So yeah, GR did have to rotate a little bit. It's why the third cipher here is a little bit slow, but overall, very, very strong, initial containment, very strong cipher rush kind of shaping up here from GR. We've got Heart coming in for the rescue, nicely done at the edge kind of that pocket watch radius. JXY trying to swing at first officer, not coming up with anything. Has to be careful here not to hit the chair, but is going to manage to land a hit on Heart even through the pocket watch. Unfortunately, not going to be a double down situation here. But heading back onto XML5, we're going to see Cheerleader once again with the dash. Oh, but going to get caught at the last second on that pallet, trying to kind of play around it while in the speed boost. And yeah, that was just beautifully timed there from JXY. Just a little bit unfortunate on that pallet drop. XML5 going to see second share here, but we've got 3 ciphers remaining. By the time XML5 is rescued here, we're going to have a cipher primed. Or at least very, very close to being primed, but already we're seeing that all of the ciphers are passing about 75% by the time that XML5 is chaired. Second chair here, Heart hiding in the area. Thankfully did not get wanted or yeah, I would say JXY's persona is probably similar to the one that I bring on Lizard sometimes, with that wanted order instead of full up down. But yeah, Heart getting caught out here, but is going to be able to head for the chair. Unfortunately, though, that final cipher is sitting at 77%, so has not yet been returned to. We're going to play a little bit more around XML5's chair. AK also coming into support, but no one is at that cipher yet. We're going to get a hit in on Heart. Heart will be going down very shortly. Yep, there goes the rest of that pocket watch. And we're going to see AK taking a hit. Unfortunately, not able to perfume that. Teleporting over to AC. This may have just been a huge mistake here from JXY. Just leaving the rest of those survivors. And yeah, that cipher is at 99%. We're going to go for the pop here. Heart being very, very close, but using the speed boost from the cipher pop to just keep distance away from JXY. We're going to force JXY to break that pallet. Heading into the restaurant here, we're looking like a 3-man escape, possibly even a 4-man escape. JXY changing targets here once again, but heading towards the gate that AC has already opened. And yeah, it looks like AK is here as... Oh no, AC has not been able to open the gate yet. That's my bad. I thought that was the open gate, but other exit gate is already open. AC can possibly kite to dungeon here. But we do have a coffin on the field as a little bit of insurance. AC just running around this hotel area. Now we can contain for quite some time around the hotel. But the main problem here is going to be just the fact that dungeon is not in the area. We've got about a minute left on detention though. And AC just waiting here, but JXY is going to go for the chair. Now, we can rebirth. The problem with rebirthing here is that we are post-Cypher Pop, so AC is not going to have the shield to work with, but detention only has about 45 seconds left on it. AC is going to have to go ahead and use the coffin. Of course, JXY is going to catch right up, but it's going to take... I would say we're going to have about 30 seconds until detention is over. Okay. Well, in theory, they could have pushed for the 4-man there. I would say it's definitely better that they didn't, just because, you know, we have seen GR get a little bit greedy. But a 3-man escape, nothing to sneeze at as a round 1 result. Just such a strong performance there from GR survivors. And that's exactly, you know, JXY just getting flustered there towards the end, not able to stick to a target, not able to really commit. XML5 still just such a great kiter. Just really, really one to watch out for. Allowing the cheerleader out here too, I misclicked. And that's gonna set us back all the way back to the last match that we watched. We're doing really, really good with the timestamps on this video today. But yeah, that's my bad. But yeah, heading back into where we are now in the present. But the problem is that the number keypad is like linked to timestamps in the video. So if I did what I just did and I hit the 1 key, it put me back to like the 1 spot in the video. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's like, yeah. Basically I messed up. But yeah, I mean, kind of the antithesis here to XBL5, GUI on ZS.Lin is the definitive cheerleader container. We saw just insane kites from GUI yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, because I didn't stream yesterday. But yeah, the other day, ZS.Lin versus, I think it was, who was it against? It was against MRC? Yeah, it was against ZS.Lin versus MRC was the match that I covered on Tuesday. It's on YouTube now. Just absolutely insane containment there from GUI. Just so talented. We're going to see, yeah, once again, still with the opera singer and the gamekeeper. I would expect that not to change coming into Koa. And yeah, just such a fun hunter to watch. You know, it can get a little tiring, so depending on you know, what you're doing. If you're commentating for the same team over and over and over again, it can get, you know, a little repetitive. But yeah, always it's just so much fun to watch. And I'm definitely, you know, kind of excited to see how GR evolves here, especially with losing Super Rich, because Super Rich was kind of their hunter, and now he's retired. So Yeah, Nia has pretty big shoes to fill, but like is filling them. Just very, very talented, very fun to watch. Um, and puts on a great show. I don't get sick of the gamekeeper. That might just be me though. But yeah, I feel like Chinatown too does kind of give him a lot of freedom here to really work with the opera singer. And GR did pick Chinatown as well. I am gonna fast forward a little bit. Oh, and I, didn't need to do that because managed to talk all the way up to the break. But heading into second half of round 2 here, or round 1, my bad. Second half of round 1. I see Chinatown and I automatically assume it's going to be round 2 or round 3. But no, it is round 1. And GR once again with the advantage here. Nia without pressure, as much pressure heading into this round. However, we are going to see ZS.Lin locking in a very, very strong comp here. We've got the patient, cheerleader, aeroplanist, and the first officer. Yeah, it's just absolutely such a strong comp. We're going to see Gui once again coming in on that cheerleader. So Nia really does need to kind of lock in here and get that, at least a draw. If Nia is just able to draw with that 3-man escape result, that will be, more than enough to secure round 1 here for them. But of course, ZS.Lin can obviously flip the scales the other way. Maybe not a 4-man escape, but a 3-man escape is definitely possible here. And could just leave us with a tie in round 1. So yeah, not great odds for a tie, obviously, when the opposing team here needs only a tie to win. It's not optimal conditions for the survivor side, but still very, very good, especially since, this is such a strong comp. Map is not the best for Opera Singer. It's definitely not bad for Opera Singer, but it's not, it's not Ever Sleeping. It's not the greatest map in the world, and it's still Opera Singer, and Opera Singer is just Opera Singer is not going down in the meta. It's just that Survivor teams have such dedicated strategies to going against her that there's no element of surprise. And I feel like the element of surprise is something that really can make or break matches. More so after round 1, but I feel like coming out with something crazy in round 1 is kind of an underrated strategy. Now, it can also be an overrated strategy if we're looking at some teams that have employed in the past. Juicy Pro on Japan is the one that I'm thinking of actively, with the Lizard that didn't quite go as planned. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad outlook here for ZS.Lin in this situation, is what I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna see double tied here as well with Yuan and Jiaxin, both with that tie turner. And of course, broken windows here. But heading into the second half, once again, ZS.Lin needs to get a 3-man escape in order to tie in round 1. If they get a 4-man escape, then they win. If they get anything less, that's going to be a win in round 1 for GR. But heading into things, it looks like Guagua is going to take our first chase here with the patient very narrowly, well, not so narrowly, but definitely narrowly avoiding a terror shock there to start us off. Over only not even 30 seconds into the match, taking our first hit already. And yeah, just catching patient off guard here. Just with great results. Not quite able to get that hit in through the window, but that was just such a fast down. And just absolutely incredible work here from Guagua, or not from Guagua, from Nia. Guagua just unfortunately getting caught in the open here. Not quite able to really use the restaurant area to his advantage. And it's just an unfortunate kind of misplay here for Guagua. But Jiaxin has to pocket watch fairly early out here. Nia doing such a good job with this map pressure. Yuan coming in from the back, but is going to be seen before reaching the chair. It is going to be a very nice right before half rescue, but not without kind of consequences here. First officer can't come in for a rescue after the fact. Guagua is running Guagua's only just used the first hook. So we do have 2 more hooks left to use, and we're going to use the second one here. But Nia just using the shadow teleport here to get back on track. Heading around with Guagua. We're at 4 ciphers remaining, and that's it. And Guagua has just used the final hook and is not able to drop that pallet in time. Yeah, just no fear at all with that Opera Singer hitbox. We're going to see our first chair, or our second chair here at just barely 2 minutes into the match. We're still at 4 ciphers remaining. This could be 4-man elimination trajectory, honestly, with the way that this is going, because Nia is moving like 4 or 5 times faster than these survivors right now. Entirely on his own skill. You talk a lot about like opera singers that know what they're doing versus opera singers that are playing her because she's meta. Nia absolutely knows what he's doing without a question. And it's just, really, really showing in this match. Immediately getting the hit on Guagua. There's really nothing that Guagua can do there. ZS.Lin just has to avoid getting doubled down. ZS.Lin doing a great job at exiting the area as soon as possible to avoid that, forcing Nia to just, continue the tunnel here, which can be good, can be bad, but the main thing is that getting an elimination at pretty much, we're at 3 ciphers remaining, we're almost at 2 ciphers remaining, so ZS.Lin could definitely turn this back around into a draw if they're able to keep up the cipher progress. The main thing, though, is that they're missing 1 cipher. Nia actually missing the blink there? Yeah, I think that was actually a missed blink, so just a little bit unfortunate, but we do see the immediate switch to teleport, and continuing this containment on Yuan. That was second to last on the jetpack. Unfortunately, Yuan just going to get caught out there on the pallet, and it's fine. I mean, I am the most broken record in the world when it comes to these things, because by nature of commentary, you do just end up repeating yourself all the time. Which is also due to the fact that it's a live stream. I do like to repeat myself just in case somebody's come in late and didn't hear it the first time. But I imagine that it probably makes me a little bit annoying to watch the VODs, so that my bad. But yeah, there's only a limited amount of things that you can say about the game. There's quite a few things that you can say, but there's a limited amount. But ZS.Lin going down here. Yuan does have a lot to work with, or not a lot to work with, but Yuan does have quite a bit to work with later on. It does look like where they're going to go ahead and heal. We've got 1 cipher remaining here at about 50%. A second cipher started at 10%, and it actually looks like Gui is going to not sticking around to heal at all and heading in presumably for the chair in that bottom corner, but Nia just going to go ahead, change targets completely right now, and Nia can do this pretty comfortably, is just pressure the entire map. Doubling back here, heading back for the chair, looking for Gui here. We've got kind of a direction, but not quite. Heading back over towards where Yuan is decoding. Gui not quite close enough to the chair, it looks like, to really come in for that rescue. And our stream is lagging. Someone is pinging out here. But watching in the bottom corner, we can see that it looks like... Okay, it looks like Nia did teleport back. That was a little disconcerting. But good to see that the player's ping wasn't affected. But yeah, heading back on Yuan once again here and getting a nice hit through that pallet. Unfortunately, ZS.Lin is going to get rescued here. But final ciphers are going still very, very slowly. We're going to go ahead and put Yuan in basement just to try and secure a draw here. Once again, all Nia needs is a draw. So it's safe to kind of just, not so... Like, we are being very aggressive on these pallets, but... bare minimum, if they're still able to kind of decode these, a draw is still going to be very, very achievable. And yeah, teleporting back here once again, looking for whoever's coming in for this rescue, but it looks like they may just go ahead and sell. Because, yeah, Gui not able to make it to the basement in time. ZS.Lin as well, just kind of in the area, but not able to come for the rescue. They're just going to go ahead and pop the cipher, trying to give them the best chance at a tie as they can get. But that's just it's a little risky here. It really is, because... you give Nia detention. By virtue of being able to open the exit gates, Nia now has detention. So, it raises your chances of getting a single escape because you have the gates as well as the dungeon to open. But Yeah, and it does look like we has made it to the gate. So we are looking like a one-man escape here. If ZS.Lin is able to kite to dungeon, but no, that's not going to be the case here. Dungeon was not that far away, but without items, it's very difficult to make it that far. Without items or without many pallets in this area, most of them had already been used. That is going to be a one-man escape here for ZS.Lin. It's going to be 6 points here in this first round of GR. Just absolutely incredible performance here, both from Nia and from the Survivor side, to get kind of this very stacked round one. So I think it's going to be a 4-point lead here. ZS.Lin with 2 points, GR with 6, and it's not obviously it's not, you know, set in stone. We did just see GR had the lead in round 1 against HHDG, and we saw how that went. However, the 3-1-3-1, it's a little bit more telling than a 5-0 and a draw. Mainly because it means that both factions, like both the Survivor and the Hunter factions, are stronger. In the previous match, it was the Hunter faction was stronger, and then the Survivor and it was the Hunter faction was stronger, and then the Survivor and the Hunter factions were even. But yeah, this is basically GR is kind of outperforming ZS.Lin overall in this first round, which is a very good sign if you are GR. It's a very bad sign if you are ZS.Lin. But speaking of bad signs, we're going to head into the second half of round 2 here. And I don't know why I said speaking of bad signs, but probably because map ban picks are going to come through in a second. But where are they? Yep, there they are. So we're going to be on Leo's memory here, picked by ZS.Lin. GR is going to go ahead and ban Ever Sleeping Town. So not really surprising there. With an Ever Sleeping Town ban, you know, you don't want to give JXY any points. And I think JXY has played Wax Artist. I'm honestly, like Wax Artist Gamekeeper. Arms Factory is a really good map for Gamekeeper. So like, on one hand, ZS.Lin picking Arms Factory for Gamekeeper, good. However, Nia is also a really good Gamekeeper, so it kind of works on both sides here. And it's also a good map for Dream Witch. So yeah, a lot of options on Arms Factory, and definitely, you know, while it can benefit ZS.Lin here, it's also going to benefit GR, which is not something that ZS.Lin necessarily wants to have happen. It's definitely much more difficult to, you know, it's difficult to pick a map that works for both you and for the other team when you're behind. Unless the other team has like a very specific map that they dislike, but most teams do not have that. Other than Sacred Heart, there isn't really a map that can give you like a solid advantage, and the drawback of picking Sacred Heart is that your Hunter also has to work on Sacred Heart. So a Sacred Heart pick can really shoot you in the foot. Leo's Memory pick can also shoot you in the foot, kind of in both ways. Arms Factory is a very kind of... I feel like Arms Factory might be one of the most neutral maps. Because it can be very good for survivors, but it can also be very good for quite a few hunters. It's small, you know, you can get a lot of map control going on it, but yeah, it's anything is a risk here for ZS.Lin. The stakes are incredibly high in this match. This is once again the final chance for either of these teams, or for any team, to make it into COA. So yeah, no pressure. But inevitably, when I go ahead and try to skip ahead to the picks here, we're gonna get them up right away. Maybe not, though, actually. We actually had quite a bit more time to sit. Oh, that's I like it when they draw the characters draw the players in character costumes. Wow, we're taking quite a bit of time to get to the band picks here. Alright, there we go. Round 2, first half band picks. JXY immediately going to lock in the Seer as well as the Dancer. GR bands right now are or global bans here are going to be Embalmer as well as Perfumer. GR are going to ban Opera Singer, very obviously. I would say here they can go similarly bold, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to lock in Mercenary and Aeroplanist both as our very first two picks. So not wanting them to get banned, knowing that they're very likely to get banned if they're allowed to wait any longer. So yeah, very nice kind of prediction here from GR. Acrobat's going to be our third ban from JXY, and GR is going to, I would say, lock in, they could lock in Patient here. Okay, we're going to lock in Cheerleader, just as good, and definitely very, very good here for XML5 once again kind of having that Cheerleader in tow. That is also kind of the advantage of commentating for the same team repeatedly, is that you get, it's the best way to get familiar with who they're going to pick, is to kind of just, grind through it. And with the repetition as well, and for their final pick, we're going to ban Entomologist, and Novelist is going to make an appearance once again here. So yeah, very... Excuse me. I keep yawning, even though I'm not tired. Probably because I've just been talking for, 2 hours, but... Yeah, the Novelist coming out once again, and the fact that 3 out of 4 of these characters that are being picked right now were either weren't available or just would not have been seen in IVL. This is how fast the meta is shifting. Where both Aeroplanist and Cheerleader didn't come available until IVL finals. And then Novelist, only just got reworked, has kind of slowly made his niche into the meta. But Mercenary is forever, I think, is kind of the message that we're getting here. There will always be a Mercenary on the team. Even when there's not a Mercenary on the team, there will always be a Mercenary on the team. Just trust me on that. By that I mean Patient and Aeroplanist, but there's always a Mercenary. There's always a Mercenary. And JXY finally, or actually not finally, I think JXY did bring out the Disciple yesterday. Yeah, we did see JXY Disciple, I think. If I am not mistaken. But yeah, Disciple very good on Arms Factory. But I feel like she's not the worst choice against this team comp. As long as JXY is kind of able to keep his head straight. Because I think that was the main thing that happened with Disciple on the other day's stream, is that things just kind of didn't go according to plan. But if they can, I mean, Disciple is very, very good on Arms Factory. There's a lot of corners for the cats to sort of trap survivors in. But the main key here is to just not get stuck in the corner kiting Cheerleader again. That's going to kind of be the make or break here. Is just not... Don't chase Cheerleader in kind of the upper corner of the map. Because that will go not so hot for JXY here. Really, the main thing with Disciple is that you need to get a fast down, and not kind of allow the survivors to kite around you. We're gonna have Blink and Trump card here, so a little risky here once again. Not bringing Confined Space, bringing the Blink. JXY didn't have a lot of luck with the Blink before, so a little bit risky to bring the Blink again. I would say the hope here is to kind of cut off Aeroplanist, Interesting, actually. We're going to see a little bit of a switch in the lineup. XML5 is actually going to go ahead and play the Aeroplanist. We're going to see AC instead on the Cheerleader. So yeah, still very, very strong containment here. And definitely, not a surprise, but a little bit of a shift, because XML5 has been playing the Cheerleader in the past few matches. So an interesting shift. I would say, if anything, XML5 was like, I don't want to play Cheerleader anymore. I'll play something else. But yeah, heading into this first half of round 2, GR with the lead heading in from round 1. But JXY heading towards AK here on Novelist, it looks like. Which, yeah, we're gonna head right back into this corner. This corner is just so not fun to work in. And I would really, I guess, to be fair, there aren't a lot of great kiting areas on Arms Factory, but oh, stunning AK out of the Novelist switch there. Very, very nicely done there from JXY, and that's going to be our first hit of the match. AK, did that eat the swap? No, it didn't actually. The swap stayed. That's interesting that it didn't waste the swap here. But unfortunately, AK just not able to get far enough away from JXY. It's going to be a very early, well, not very, very early down, but under a minute down here. Definitely a really good start here for JXY, and without Blink having to be used. So yeah, you know, I was kind of criticizing JXY's decision to go into that corner, but that really worked out this time, not chasing the cheerleader, chasing the Novelist instead. Novelist did have broken windows here. I feel like, yeah, I don't think that Flywheel would have really done him any favors. But it would have kept him alive specifically in that situation, but not in the long run. It makes sense that he didn't have it. But approaching 3 ciphers here, we've got Heart coming in for the rescue. It's going to be definitely after half, looking for like a 99% rescue last second here before AK takes off, and that is going to be a rescue. JXY is going to be able to get the hit in though. AK will be returning to the manor once Tide Turner is up. Now Tide Turner does buy GR a lot of time to sort of recuperate their cipher progress. We're going to see JXY going for another hit there, not quite able to get the full presence though. So it's a little bit unfortunate here, especially not getting the hit in on Heart is going to be big, especially in terms of JXY's ability to sort of snowball this match. But with the Blink has not been used, but we are going to go ahead and switch to Teleport just to go ahead and change targets as soon as possible. So nicely done here. Going to get Cat on AC, but unfortunately not able to get the stun. We are going to go ahead and cancel Cheerleader skills, so no dashes for the time being, and getting the hit right through that pallet, just barely on the edge of Disciple hitbox. JXY is going to go ahead and continue the chase. Cheerleader does have dash and is going to go ahead and use that right back into this corner that once again has proven so deadly. It really comes down to whether JXY is able to get the stun, which he is. Very, very nicely done. AC is going to be seeing a chair, and there are 2 ciphers remaining. Now those 2 ciphers are fairly slow. They're gonna have to wait until the last second to rescue this one as well. So yeah, if GR wants to get, you know, best possible scenario here, they're gonna have to wait for the last second to rescue. But also JXY just switching targets here onto Heart. There's still 2 ciphers remaining. XML5 not able to come in for the rescue just yet. Heart trying to make it there, is going to go ahead and use the second to last elbow pad, but is going to take a hit on the way. JXY trying to get a Cat in on Cheerleader, is successful with it. Second to last cipher is about to pop here. We're at 1 cipher remaining. Final cipher is at 66%. Now, AC does have, once again, a very good area to work with here. However, is just going to go ahead and run into the corner. And JXY is going to be able to get this down here. AC will be returning to the manor unless we're actually going to go ahead and teleport, not securing the elimination just yet. That's a little bit risky here. JXY kind of overestimating where that cipher was at and just going straight for the teleport. Now, if this works out, this could definitely be huge here. We're going to see Heart taking the hit here. And yeah, no survivor has really been able to return to that 75% cipher, so we could definitely continue to push this. However, Aeroplanist back on the cipher here. Cheerleader back up, has used self-heal, and that final cipher is approaching primed. So Mercenary does have a full chair to get through. We're going to see that cipher is at 99%. AC heading towards it. I think XML5 is going to go ahead and try to go for this rescue, but JXY heading towards the center of the map, not willing to let Cheerleader just kind of go to it unhindered. But the survivors can also return to that Prime Cipher. Prime Cipher is just the one in the middle, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the one in the middle there. AC back in this corner does have 2 full Cheerleader dashes to get through. So that skill cancellation is not quite going to be going through yet. Unfortunately for AC, we are going to get caught here, but that was more than enough time for Heart and XML5 to return to the Cypher, and that is going to be a 3-man endgame here for GR. Just such a great turnaround here, and this is really what I'm saying. You know, you can get a bad first chase, but if you're able to kind of push it like that, get the no damage rescue, we're in more than draw territory here. If AC have not quite seen where Dungeon is, nice job on the skill cancellation, but both XML5 and Heart can just exit the gate here. AC just biding time, waiting for those cats to be up and using the dash to escape them so quickly here. Dungeon is in the center here. JXY does have a cat, and JXY able to land the cat. Unfortunately, AC just getting caught in that radius. That is going to be a draw here for GR, but not a bad result here. JXY really doing a great job of keeping that a draw, but I feel like if he had been a little bit more aggressive there, that could definitely have been more than that. Because that early game was just so well done. But GR really just able to bring it back around with their teamwork. Just so strong on that survivor side. And that's really what we're going to be seeing more and more and more of is just these crazy survivors. And just airtight strategies. Heading into Koa. But heading into round 2, second half, if I can get my timestamp to look right, that's about right. We're gonna have an extra minute on the clock here, but it doesn't matter. I can continue to fill the space. But yeah, I mean, as it stands here, if ZS.Lin survivors can play for a draw, ZS.Lin survivors can play for a draw. But if they're not able to play for a draw, Nia has Gamekeeper coming into this round. They can ban Gamekeeper, deal with Opera Singer, but Nia is also a scary Opera Singer. You want to ban Opera Singer, take the Gamekeeper if you can. The problem, though, is just that Nia is such a strong Gamekeeper, and Gamekeeper is so strong on Arms Factory. So if Nia just has to play for a draw here, that's a huge advantage for GR heading into the second half of this round. There's, obviously things can get a little hairy. We have, seen that before, and we'll see it again, but it really is, GR has the advantage coming into this by quite a long shot. Even if they tie here, they still have, a 4-point advantage from the previous round. So yeah, the unfortunate, excuse me, once again. The unfortunate thing with a draw in the first half, especially since, the draw in the first half is one thing, but with ZS.Lin being behind by 4 points, they really need to get points on the board. Now, Nia actually going through and banning Prospector first here has a little bit, I would say that's a little bit of trauma from previous Prospectors coming out when a team really needs a 4 escape on Arms Factory. FPXEQ is coming directly to mind with that Prospector ban. I would say Prospector is mostly being banned because he's an annoyance, not so much because he's like a Gamekeeper counter. We're going to see Barmaid locked in here as well with a similar Aeroplanist and Mercenary first 2 picks. Very, very strong here. We're going to see Coordinator as our final ban, and Cheerleader is not on the table. No, Cheerleader was actually one of ZS.Lin's first picks in the previous round. So they are not going to have Cheerleader, and they are going to lock in Antiquarian, though. So yeah, Antiquarian still, hard meta here. I would say Barmaid, if we're going to go with Gamekeeper here, I think Barmaid is probably the weakest link. Most ideal first chase, which is exactly, what ZS.Lin is going to kind of try and hope for and exploit. But yeah, and Gamekeeper is going to come out. All Nia has to do here is aim for a tie, and I think that it's not going to be easy, especially with this comp. This is a very strong comp, but I feel like targeting Barmaid here is at least going to get you 1 elimination. The rest of it is just going to come down to, distributed chip damage, getting, the snowball damage on the team. and just really focusing on kind of map control here, which is doable for Gamekeeper on Arms Factory. Place a couple traps at the start of the match, continue to work kind of around those traps, surprise tools that will help you later. So yeah, just I would say not really a clear advantage here for Nia, but definitely enough of an advantage here to really kind of make some magic happen. But yeah, we are going to see, no risks taken here. We're going to see full blink detention trump card coming out from Nia. We're also going to have double tide with the mercenary and the aeroplanist, with broken windows on both the barmaid and the antiquarian. So yeah, really playing it very, very safe here. Once again, this is pretty much ZS.Lin's last chance to push it into round 3 and go for the COAVII title, or for the qualified spot. Just reaching for my water there, but yeah, it's no pressure. Absolutely no pressure. But yeah, heading into this, immediately using the hook here to get a little bit of distance closer towards Yuan, so a little bit less time spent transitioning into this area, getting comfortable, trying to catch up as soon as possible. Now, it does obviously send the hook into cooldown, but it is what it is on that front. Yeah, placing traps here outside, on the outer edge of this area. We're going to go ahead and try to get around here to hook Yuan, possibly through the pallet, but unfortunately, no, not able to get the swing in there either. But we are going to trap off this area. Yuan is going to have to transition out. 5 more seconds on the hook here until we can get a connection, but nicely done here from Yuan with the pushback, though. Unfortunately, not getting the double stun. Nicely done there, though. Very, very smooth with breaking the trap here. Once again, kind of taking advantage of the Antiquarian's ability to do that. Which is very situational, but I feel like Antiquarian's definitely going to kind of come out with that capability against Gamekeeper in particular. We're going to see Nia kind of avoiding that pallet, knowing that there's someone hiding behind it. We're going to see Yuan taking the blink hit. A little bit unfortunate that we had to force blink out, but with a minute 22, very much on time. And ZS.Lin going for the money shot, but unfortunately just not going to work out. That is one of those things where it's like, how cool would that have been and if it had worked? Unfortunately, Nia not close enough to that pallet. ZS.Lin also not close enough to that pallet with the pallet, or with the elbow pad. And yeah, that's just a very unfortunate, both a waste of resources and also, ZS.Lin can't rescue anymore. So yeah, just that's just a little bit unfortunate for ZS.Lin. Of course, they do have a little bit of insurance here with Guagua coming in for the rescue. Does have Tide Turner as well, but yeah, just playing around that chair for a second is going to be able to get the other hit in, which is exactly what I was talking about with the snowball. 3 out of 4 of these survivors are injured. But heading for Yuan here, kind of trying to bait out the hook, and ZS.Lin heading into a trap here, just feeding himself to Nye. That is just so unfortunate here for ZS.Lin with the double down by accident. ZS.Lin just really, really unfortunate decision making here. But Yuan is going to see a second share here. Gui is the only one who can rescue. They may just go ahead and sell Yuan, because with where the ciphers are at here, they can bring this back. If they're very, very careful about it, they can bring this back, because they have enough cipher progress on the field right now for a draw. But with the distributed damage, with the map pressure that Nia has been exerting, it's not going to be easy. But ZS.Lin heading back into the area. Nia with the infinite hook here, trying to go for that chip damage on ZS.Lin. We're going to go ahead and get the rescue on Yuan. Gui is going to go ahead and get that body block in there, though, so very nicely done, just to keep Yuan alive for a little bit longer. Now, once again, the pallets, the decoding progress here is not as far along as it could be. It's definitely far enough along for them to bring this back. So Nia does need to be cautious here with who we chair. We're going to go ahead and chair Gui. Chairing Gui in basement here is going to be good. Now, it's a little bit risky still just because of all of that cipher progress and allowing Yuan to escape. Since Yuan is dead on chair, you do kind of want to go for that tunnel. But Nia going for Gui here is still good. It allows a little bit more pressure. It forces somebody to be in basement. We're going to switch to abnormal here on the almost finished cipher. So that's going to be down to 32%. That is huge for GR here, and very, very bad for ZS.Lin. It means they can't return to that cipher. They need to just continue to stick to the cipher that Yuan is working on. But that is just a huge, like, game-changing moment there for ZS.Lin and for GR. I mean, especially with Gui in the basement here. No one can really go to rescue that. Yeah, Nia seeing that aeroplane is kind of heading down. Nicely done with that jetpack, though, from Guagua. But after half, as far as we're going to see... Oh, Guagua actually downed with the chip hit. We're going to see Gui go down as well. Jushin hanging out in the basement, but that's very, very risky here, even for a mercenary. We have 1 second left on the hook here. Guagua is going to go ahead and get put in the chair before the cipher is primed. Cipher is going to be primed, very, very primed by the time that Yuan is chaired. But Nia going for the chip hit here. Jushin needs to go for the rescue. We're going to get the bait the hook into the chair. Very nicely done. Nia going for the fall hit here. Unless... Yes, going for the fall hit. It is going to be on mercenary. It's going to be very, very close here. Yeah, they are going to go ahead and just pop it. But unfortunately, Hook not in cooldown. Nia can go ahead and just catch up to Mercenary immediately here. And a draw is once again all we need to secure this. And a Terror Shock on that vault. Nia changing targets immediately. Yeah, Jushin does not have self-heal anymore. Does not have anything left to work with. Is just going to go ahead and sit there. Guagua on the opposite gate. Yuan on the way. But if we're able to catch Yuan before he makes it to the gate, this could be a 3-man elimination here. Once we secure the draw, it's over. So if we're able to get Yuan here, that's going to mean even more towards that end result. But as it is now, I mean, we're basically done. Unless they're able to go back and heal up Jushin. But with Yuan getting caught, unfortunately not able to get the stun. And that is going to be our second elimination here for Nia and secure GR's spot in the global tournament. So yeah, but just such, ZS.Lin, I feel like, is really a team to watch out for, next competitive season. Because the fact that they made it this far in COA qualifiers against other pro teams, or against pro teams at all. ZS.Lin is not a pro team. ZS.Lin is a non-pro team that qualified through... Oh, and a second Terror Shock on Jushin. Just to rub it in there. But, yeah. ZS.Lin is not a pro team, so them being able to make it this far in the tournament is more than enough kind of kudos here. But, yeah, that is pretty much it for ZS.Lin versus GR. I'm actually going to put it on Be Right Back for a second because I forgot to pull up the brackets and I don't want to pull up my entire Twitter. So I will be right back on that. But with this match being basically, I mean, I'm gonna, it's basically over. Yeah, Guagua is going to escape. That is GR with the beautiful little winner screen here. Actually, I think because this is the final stream, I can just skip to the end here and they're going to show us the brackets. But watching the brackets get assigned here is very entertaining. But skipping through all of that, we're going to go ahead and see the groups here. Oh wait, no, it's not actually finished yet. Let's see. Where are they going to show the final set? I think this is going to be the final set. Yep, I'm going to see if they show it so that it's not getting cut off by the bar. Okay, yes, there we are. All right, yeah, so here's the groups for COA. Starting tonight. Just, it's just crazy to see the assignments here. But Group A is definitely going to be the most high intensity group. We've got, 4 pro China teams and Zeta, which is on the same level. Group B here, we've got RD from Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, RC, Omni, HHDG, and FT, which FT actually was able to qualify in IVT, Southeast Asia IVT. So we haven't seen FT in a while. Now I probably could have restreamed those finals, but I ran out of time. But yeah. Definitely very excited. I think the first 4 matches tonight, I know that Zeta and MRC are going to be playing tonight. That's going to be our first match tonight, starting at it's 23 o'clock server time, so 11 p.m. Server time. It's going to be midnight for me if you're in Eastern time. But that's gonna be MRC versus Zeta. Before You versus TE is going to be the match after that. So yeah, first 2 matches tonight are ones that I'm definitely going to be paying attention to. As long as I can stay up for Before You, I'm going to try and watch that live, because that's definitely one that I want to catch live. Tomorrow, and I don't remember, I think FT versus HHDG is happening tonight. But tomorrow, I know that the first match is Omni. Don't remember who Omni is playing, but I'm pretty sure they're the first match tomorrow. So yeah, a lot of really, really exciting matches to look forward to. I am super excited about COA. Once again, I'm not gonna really be streaming COA just because I will be watching it live. But I will be tweeting about it. So if you don't follow my Twitter already, I am on there at Lethal Crash. Spelled exactly the way it sounds, all lowercase. That doesn't really matter though. I think it's linked on my Twitch, but I actually don't remember if I have it linked. But either way, you can see me talking more about COA there. I also have commissions open. I was able to pull Merc, but I mean, I still have commissions open. There's a few more things that I want, like, on the wish list. If you're interested, sometimes I draw. But I will be drawing during COA though. So yeah, I got Merc in 76 pulls. I was very happy about that. I don't whale often for IDV, but when I do, it tends to go fairly well, unless it doesn't. But it only doesn't go well when I'm aiming for an A tier. If I'm like, I really want an A tier, I have to pull like a ridiculous amount. But as soon as I want an S tier, like, the game will give it to me. But it doesn't give me random S tiers. I pulled Lava Cake and I pulled Source of Evil for free. But I'm really bad at Batter, and I don't play Little Girl too often just because I'm usually playing with somebody else who's playing Little Girl. But it's okay. Once I unlock Skin Share, then everybody will be much happier. But I pulled Source of Evil in like 13 pulls, and I was very upset about it because, once again, the only skin that I wanted from that essence was Lizard. I wanted Horrendous so bad, and then I pulled Source of Evil, and I was like, oh. But I did, I managed to get Horrendous, like, right after that. I still haven't pulled Hidden. But enough of that, enough about my gacha luck. But yeah, I will hopefully be doing gameplay streams during the week, maybe like once a week or so, just to kind of keep it up. Obviously I'll discuss COA there because you would have to literally like rip out my tongue to get me to stop talking about COA. That's kind of morbid, but I'm not exaggerating. But yeah, and I mean, if you guys have any questions about, like, you know, what I think of the matches, what I think about COA and such, like, feel free to just ask me on Twitter. Like, you can DM me, you can like comment on my posts, because I love talking about this stuff, even if I'm not gonna do commentary or as much commentary for the next couple for the next month ish while COA is going on. I'm still in it. Yeah, but also other things that are coming up. LO League tournament is going to be starting in, I think, a little over a week. I don't have a commentary schedule for that yet, but I will be posting about it on Twitter as soon as I have that. So that's very exciting. Really looking forward to that. I think I kind of mentioned it the other day, but there's some familiar faces. If you watched me during Checkmate, we've got some of the same commentators that are coming over to that. So I'm super excited to get to commentate with them again. And yeah, just all around fun for the next few weeks, but I will let you guys go now so that I can also stop talking. But thank you all for coming. Thank you all for supporting me. This will again be on YouTube in the
same playlist so I can have everything in one place. If for some reason you want to rewatch this, it'll be there. Or if you want to show your friends, it'll also be there. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for again being chatty, and helping me along, and bearing with my technical difficulties. Someday I'll get my shit together. But once again, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. But goodbye for now.